Ready?
All ready down here? All ready?
Ready to go?
All right, let's go.
Bring it up either way. Sure.
Good evening, everybody. Calling this Village Board of Trustees meeting, July 28th, 2025 at 7 p.m. to order. Clerk Laukant, roll call vote, please.
Trustee Alfano.
Here.
Trustee Cordova.
Here.
Trustee Constanzos. That's right, she's at a funeral. Trustee Kozar.
Here.
Trustee Kumar.
Here.
Trustee Sabri.
Here.
And of course, Village President Ken Patrick.
Here. You could all rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
Of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please be seated. Do we have any amendments to the agenda? Trustee Alfano?
Yes, I would like to make a motion to move 7A before public comment on the agenda.
Okay, do I have a second?
I second.
Trustee Sabri? Voice vote, please. Or any discussion? Voice vote, please.
All ayes?
Aye.
All nays?
Okay, seeing none.
Let's have it.
Right. We will move right into our presentation, the Independence Day Parade Awards. Oh, I apologize. Trustee Kumar.
I have amendments to the agenda. If you remember, the ordinance for second reading should be the ordinance for first reading. All of these, A, B, C, D, and E. We never had a first reading. I tabled that.
Yes, the first reading was on the agenda for the June 23rd meeting, and so that was the first reading. The ordinances were read out. That satisfies the requirement, so this is the second reading.
Okay, that's fine.
Are there any other amendments to the agenda? Okay, seeing none.
Good evening, and thank you, Mr. President. I'm going to need both hands, so I'm just going to try and speak into the mic. What we're going to do is we're going to be giving away the July 4th Parade Award winners. First and foremost, I want to thank the Parade Committee for all the hard work they did in putting this together. It was another great event. It's one of my favorites in this town and all the other towns I participated in parades in. So, without further ado, the first one is for Best Musical Performance, DuPage 88 Marching Band. If you'd please come and step forward. And it says from VFW Post 2801, Best Musical Performance Award presented to DuPage 88 Marching Band in recognition of your talent and creativity in the Villa Park 2025 4th of July Parade, presented this day, July 28, 2025, from the VFW Post 2801 and the Village of Villa Park Board of Trustees. Congratulations. Thank you again, and congratulations. Next, we're going to have the Best Use of Theme, Forever United. Could I have Northwest Suburban Concert Band step forward? It says Best Use of Theme Award presented to Northwest Suburban Concert Band for exceptional creativity and execution of the theme Forever United in the Villa Park 2025 4th of July Parade, presented this day, July 28th, 2025, from the VFW Post 2801. Again, congratulations. The next award is the most patriotic, and this goes to St. Paul Lutheran Church, if they could step forward. And still, obviously, most patriotic. This award is presented to St. Paul Lutheran Church for your exemplary display of patriotism in the Villa Park 2025 4th of July Parade, presented this day, July 28, 2025, from the VFW Post 2801 and the Village of Villa Park Board of Trustees. Congratulations. Did you want to say something? Thank you. You look like you want to say something.
No, I'm so happy. I can't even believe it.
And last but not least, the Community Choice Award goes to Midland Plumbing and Sewer. Are they here in the audience? I will accept on their behalf, and I have no speech. That is all, sir.
Okay, thank you. We will go ahead and move on to public comments on agenda items. What I would like to do is first recognize a very special, important person here in the room tonight who has done wonderful things for Villa Park throughout the years that she's been here. Our 46th District State Rep, Diane Blair Sherlock.
Thank you so much. Ooh, I didn't mean to pull it out. Thank you so much, and I appreciate your time. I know your meetings are very busy, so I'll try and keep it as brief as possible, but, you know, sometimes that's hard for me.
You have the floor.
I get a little wonky. So my job as a state representative involves legislating, obviously. It's almost in the definition, but it also involves constituent services. And so that's where my focus is. In addition to that, obviously, I try and address the concerns in the community. But what a lot of people don't realize is that I am not here basically from January, the beginning of January, to the very end of May. So when people reach out to my office in the spring, especially the last week of May, I'm not available because my job is to pass a budget, hopefully, that's balanced, or not. You know, I might not vote for it, but I might. But that's what I'm focused on the last week of May. In fact, we wrapped session this year at 2:30 in the morning on June 1st. So it's important that I review everything I can review, and, that's my job. In addition to that, I'm very pleased to say that I was able to get Villa Park $600,000 for sidewalks, right? Thank you. Something I don't think a lot of people realize is the sidewalk program and the great need for replacement of sidewalks. 3 years ago on Halloween, a little girl fell in front of my house, and it broke my heart because you couldn't see the bump because of leaves. And I didn't know I had this defect, so I immediately signed up for the sidewalk replacement program. It took 2 years for me to get to the top of the list, and I was really pushing to get it done before that Halloween, but I got it done the week after, right? But part of the sidewalk replacement program, I had to pay for half the sidewalk, which I was willing to do. So, I don't know if people really understand how the sidewalk replacement program works. And maybe it's changed, but that's what I went through to get my sidewalk replaced. It was replaced last year, and it's beautiful. And nobody's going to trip on a bump anymore. So I think that's really important. But in addition to all those other things, I try and get out in the community as much as possible, and I try and be as available as possible. So every other month, I have town halls. And I do these town halls by Zoom in part because of the size of my district, right? If I were to have them at different locations throughout the district, it would be confusing to people, right? People with disabilities, seniors don't want to be out at night. So I do Zoom town halls every other month. So my next Zoom town hall is going to be Monday, August 18th at 6 o'clock. So all you have to do is, there's information on Facebook or on my website. My website is repblair-sherlock.com. And you can sign up for the Zoom town hall and you can ask me questions that you have. Also, Saturday, August 16th from 9:30 to 10:30 in the morning, I'm having coffee with Susie Glowiak at Funky Java. Susie Glowiak Hilton is our senator. So we will be at the Funky Java on August 16th from 9:30 to 10:30 if anybody would like to join us and ask us any questions. I also have an amazing environmental, what do we call them? I'm trying to remember what we call them in my office, but it's an environmental advisory council. Advisory council, thank you. And we are August 20th going to be doing a presentation, Conservation in Your Backyard, at the Villa Park Library at 7:30. Additionally, all throughout the fall after school gets back, every month we're going to be featuring the art of students at different schools in the district. So in August, we're going to have York Center Park District Art Show all of the month of August. And then we have a special night where the families can come, and it's an open house at my office. Also, and this is the thing I'm probably the most excited about, it's the first year I'm going to be doing this, but September 7th, we're going to be doing a Geek Palooza at Rotary Park. It's going to be from 12 to 4, and it entails some local businesses, you know, Unicorn Comics, of course, but also we're going to have comic book artists that are going to be there with their books, and they'll be signing books and things like that, and it's really exciting. I've seen this in other communities, and I thought, wow, what a cool thing to bring to Villa Park. So it's our first one, and I think it's going to be fun, and I think it'll be a success. We're also going to have a costume contest. I'm thinking on my costume. I'm not eligible for the contest, obviously, but we will be having a costume contest for anybody who wants to get dressed up. September 18th, we're going to be in conjunction with District 88, who I wish was still here, but we've done a series of seminars with District 88. They're wonderful partners for us. And we're going to be doing a presentation at their offices in Addison on September 18th, Health Coverage Basics, okay? And that's going to be from 7 to 8:30. And the point of this health coverage basics is for young people, right? So my kids, you know, are older. But I remember when they first got out of school and mom was no longer handling the insurance issues, the kids didn't know what to do, right? It's not a class in school, and the schools have too many mandates. As much as I'd like to require them to teach it in school, I don't want to give the schools another mandate. So we're going to be doing this presentation for young people September 18th in the evening. And the really cool thing about District 88 too is they will tape that. It will be available later online, and they also have a Spanish interpreter, and they should be posting it in both languages. So that's something else that we're working on. We're going to have an iCash event on September 24th at my office from 4 to 6, and a senior health fair October 11th at the York Center Park District from 10 to 2. And if you had gone to my last one, which we did at the gym at St. A's, it was really a great senior health fair. I regrettably didn't make my own senior health fair because I got shingles. And the one thing they said was, do not be around seniors. So, I couldn't go to my own health fair, but it was a success and everybody loved it and it was a good thing. Now, there's just a couple more things I'd like to touch on. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity. There's been a lot of misinformation, and some folks have gotten mailers from the realtors with respect to a public transit bill that was in the Senate but never moved to the floor of the House. And it's really important to me that people understand that I don't support that bill, but what I really want people to understand is I didn't support that bill before I was starting to be bullied, okay? The realtors didn't bother reaching out to me. They did not discuss the bill with me. I was a real estate attorney for over 30 years. I think common courtesy would have been to call me and discuss it with me ahead of time. Instead, they engaged in a bully campaign because then they could say, look, we made her not vote for this bill. I think it's super important that people understand I don't get bullied, okay? I represent the people. I don't represent public, special interests. And I can't be bullied. If it's not good for my district, I'm not going to vote for it. If it's not good for a special interest, that's their problem. But I don't want anybody to think that bullying me is the way to get me to do something, because that's not who I am. I was an attorney for over 30 years. I litigated about half of that time. And if I could be bullied, I shouldn't be your representative. So I just want people to understand I don't support the bill. I didn't support the bill before they started this. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. I've gotten about 500 or 600 emails that are computer generated. I can't possibly respond to those. But I've also gotten really thoughtful emails from residents in my district about the issue. And I took the time to respond to them personally and explain the situation so they understood. We do have a public transit fiscal cliff, but that isn't just the CTA. It's PACE and Metro too. I have lived in a commuter community all my life. And the Metro, a lot of people use to go to work. What a lot of people don't know is that the Union Pacific rents us their tracks, okay? And if we give up like the 819, I don't know if that still exists, but it did when I was commuting. If we give up the 819, we never get that back, because the Union Pacific doesn't want us on their tracks anymore. They keep jacking the prices to keep us off their tracks because they can make more money with the freight lines, okay? So the public transit fiscal cliff is not just the CTA, which is the boogeyman, right? It's also PACE and Metro. In addition to the committees I serve on, which is energy and environment, K through 12 public education, higher education, and I chair state government administration because I'm a contracts wonk. I've also been on the public transit working group in the House. And our focus has been restructuring governance, reforming it, saving costs, finding, mismanagement, waste. Some of the things we've encountered was obscene salaries for some administrators. But in addition, people making $300,000 a year with the overtime. And the math doesn't math for us, right? So in the House, it was important to us to try and address as much of that as we could before we even started discussing funding. So we haven't been discussing that yet in the House. The Senate is a different chamber, okay? But you got to get bills, right? We remember from Schoolhouse Rock, it's got to go through both chambers before it gets to the governor's desk. So I just wanted to clear that up. The last thing I want to say is that my district is big, but I have been a resident of Villa Park since 1999. My husband and I chose to raise our children in this town. So you're going to see us in Villa Park a little more than the rest of my district, right? Just because I live here, right? I got to get groceries. Well, my husband does the grocery shopping, but I'm out and about, and so you get to see me, and that's a nice advantage. But I do represent a very large area, and so I run around a lot to those things. But something a lot of people might not know, and this is a trivia thing I just want to throw out before I wrap things, is that my daughter, who is, I'm not going to tell you how old she is because she's not happy with how old she is right now, but my daughter and I, when she was in high school, it had to be at least 15 years ago, appeared before this board, and we pitched junior commissioners on the Pride Commission. The Pride Commission is now the Fun Commission, right? And I served on the Pride Commission for 10 years. And the kids that we had on that commission with us did a wonderful job. And it's a great opportunity for young people to build their resumes, for scholarships, and for school applications. So I just want to say I'm a strong supporter of young people being involved in the community. And I was really happy when the village had started to spread that into other commissions. I think there's some that may not be appropriate, right? But I really hope that everybody remembers that the involvement of young people is very important. And I think that's about all I want to say. But if you want to ask me questions or want to learn more, please feel free to come to my town hall. Well, Zoom to my town hall. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. All right, we are going to get started with public comments on agenda items. Before we get started, I'd like just everybody to please adhere to the 3-minute rule, and please be respectful and refrain from any personal attacks. Thank you.
I'd like to start out with, as in, at the coffee of the board the last time here, I had mentioned to the people there that if you would like to have something read into the record, then you should email it to me. And Joe Amore seems to be the first person that actually showed the interest in doing that. You don't have to come here. You can do whatever you need to do. So Joe gets to be the first one to do this, and of course, I will read his comment. To the village, to Villa Park Village Clerk, to be read at Agenda Item 4 on July 28, 2025. Regarding Agenda Items 10, A, B, C, and D, I ask the board to vote no. You must reject the narrative provided by President Patrick. These implementations are not, as stated in the language of the ordinance, as desirable, necessary, or in the best interests of the village. First, there is no language in the 2025 Villa Park Comprehensive Plan specifically recommending eliminating the current advisory board in toto and replacing them with new boards that lack the expertise to properly advise the board. Notable is, of the 9 current members of the Planning and Zoning Commission who helped author the 2025 Comprehensive Plan, only one was placed on the proposed Plan Commission. The others were not, considering for any new commissions. Also notable, under the Comprehensive Plan's public transit recommendations on page 47, the second bullet point states, work with the Bike, Pedestrian, and Transit Subcommittee of the Environmental Concerns Commission to research and consider establishing new services and technologies in the village to reduce single occupancy vehicle trips such as car sharing. This is a recognition of the importance of this subcommittee, which will be eliminated under the ordinance. Finally, the President's modernizing local government statement starting on page 40 is flawed in its presumptions with untruthful narratives and borders on plagiarism with incomplete footnotes. The proposal also blocks interested citizens from joining new boards by pre-selecting commissioners and prevents those commissioners from choosing their own chairs. It also rejects claims of transparency for not having an open application process and keeps trustees in the dark as to how these determinations were made. I recognize some commissions need improvement. Changes for change's sake without a thoughtful and deliberate effort helps no one. Let's do this correctly. You will be held accountable for your vote, whatever it may be. Our future is truly in your hands. Respectfully, Joe Amore, 309 East Maple Street, Villa Park, Illinois. So that was the one email that we received, and so therefore, comments on agenda items. The first person is Ivan. And I apologize. Could you say your last name for me? Figueroa.
I'm Ivan. About a year ago, I applied as a junior commissioner, and it was a decision to get involved and be a community member to provide input on where it mattered most. The funny thing, though, is since I was underage at that time, I had to ask my mother for permission, and I remember explaining to her what a junior commissioner was, and by the end of it, she was like, "What the heck is that?" And then moments later, she was like, "Okay, you can do it." She understood what it was, but she knew that it was an opportunity to get involved and to not only grow as like an individual, but also be in a position of public service. My mother, she was born in Mexico and moved here to America for a better life, and she had 2 goals: to work hard and to live a peaceful life. Politics was not our thing, and that was mostly because in our communities, Latino communities, we stayed away from that because for many reasons, obviously. But when I saw the chance to serve, even in a small role like a junior commissioner, I felt the responsibility to have that voice for my Latino community who rarely get the chance to speak up in civic communities, in civic spaces due to language barriers. But as a young Latino passionate about the environment, the ECC is one of many organizations that I work for across DuPage County to advocate for sustainability and environmentalism. I don't just show up to these places, I put in the work because I truly believe that there is something for me to put out there. But to dismantle the ECC is to silence the one commission that is truly dedicated to sustainability and environmentalism. But it also by doing that, it also erases the voices of young and communities like mine who are eager to contribute, but the door is constantly being closed and there's no way to get through it. So I urge everybody here to vote no on agenda item 10B, which is to dismantle the ECC. Thank you.
Jason Jarrett.
Hey, Jason. Before you start, I just want to say something, Ivan, regarding what you just said. Nowhere is it said in what we're proposing that junior commissions are going away. So, Jason.
Thanks. My name is Jason Jarrett. I'm the chair of the Planning and Zoning Commission. At the most recent board meeting, there was discussion surrounding comparable communities in Illinois that have separate planning and zoning commissions. Commissions in many other communities, such as St. Charles and Willowbrook, have held just 1/3 to 1/2 of their scheduled meetings. In Lombard, where the ZBA hears only variations and the Plan Commission hears all other matters, their ZBA has met 8 of their previous 32 meetings. Municipalities like Wilmette, Winnetka, and Lake Villa maintain separate commissions largely to protect the traditional development of their communities, often at the cost of potential new development by increasing the level of review required for approval. West Chicago and Burr Ridge have a separate plan commission and ZBA by ordinance, but in practice, the two commissions are made up of the same members and hold a single combined meeting. The white paper included in your packet as rationale for splitting the Planning and Zoning Commission relies almost entirely on the Commission Handbook of the City of Oberlin, Ohio, a community with a population of 8,000 in another state with commissions enacted under its own state's enabling legislation. Even there, the comparison is weak. Oberlin has a ZBA who is the final decision-making body on all variations and appeals, leaving all other matters to the Planning Commission. By contrast, Naperville, a development-heavy community cited throughout the white paper as an example of best practices regarding other commissions, has a single Planning and Zoning Commission, as does its neighbor Aurora. The white paper additionally touts one of the benefits of separate commissions as being, quote, distinct liaisons for each body with planning staff assigned to Plan Commission and zoning staff assigned to the ZBA, end quote. This board is aware that we currently have a staff of 2, and that even before the removal of Director McLaughlin, the village did not possess separate planning staff and zoning staff. The Planning and Zoning Commission impacts staff daily and vice versa. Has any elected official on the dais had any contact with staff about this matter? If the board is dead set on passing this ordinance, as it appears to be, I would recommend the board set an effective date that allows the current Planning and Zoning Commission to conclude its current business. Our commission has already noticed for 2 public hearings to be held before our commission on August 14th, and has another open public hearing continued to a date certain of August 14th. An effective date of 30 to 90 days from passage would allow applications to be heard in a timely fashion and with the due process the law affords them, without additional cost to the applicants or the village. It would also allow staff the time necessary to update procedures and forms associated with the application process and the new commission structure. The City of Evanston, which combined its planning and zoning commissions into a single body, did so by ordinance on October 11th, 2021, with the change taking effect on January 1st, 2022, or approximately 90 days. Finally, I want to acknowledge that my name is on the list of potential appointments to the Plan Commission. That should not be construed as my acknowledgement that I believe the proposed separation is the best path forward for the village, but as my offer to put my talents to use wherever I can to help make the most of this situation. I also note that as of this evening's agenda, there are 2 open seats on the proposed 7-person zoning board of appeals. While my experience may be more useful there than on the Plan Commission, I believe members of the existing commission could have much to offer and should be given consideration for those seats as well. Thank you for your time.
And also, if we could also please just hold off on the cheering and the clapping too, just be respectful of everybody up here. Thank you. Who's next?
Tom King.
My name is Tom King, and I'm here tonight to express my full support for the proposed restructuring and dissolution of current commissions. I believe this is a necessary forward-thinking step toward modernizing how our village operates. The current commission structure has become dated and no longer reflects the kind of community engagement we need for today and looking ahead for tomorrow. It's been the same familiar faces at the table, creating a well-meaning but tight-knit culture that unintentionally can discourage new voices, fresh ideas, and broader participation. It's not about firing volunteers. It's about rebuilding a system that functions with clear goals, strategic alignment, and true inclusivity. It's about opening doors to residents who might have felt excluded from the process and creating a framework that serves both our current needs and our future vision. The board has followed proper legal processes, and the white paper lays out a well-reasoned, evidence-based case for reform. The proposed structure is aligned with national best practices and guided by the village's own comprehensive plan. Change is not easy, but that doesn't mean it's wrong. I urge the board to stay on course and vote yes. Let's build a system that welcomes everyone and take this village forward. Thank you for your time.
Bob Wagner on 10D and 11A. Oh, I'm sorry, Mary Ann. I apologize, but you are absolutely correct. You will be next. I'm sorry.
Bob Wagner. Since I have limited time, I'm only going to talk about item 10B and 10D. I will just say I urge the board to vote no on 10B, which is a dissolution of the Environmental Concerns Commission, and 10D on dissolving the Video Production Commission. I want to speak specifically about the Video Production Commission, and I want to kind of take issue with the assertions in the so-called white paper on modernization of village commissions. That white paper makes some assertions about for example, the Video Production Commission, their mission is not well defined. Well, I will just draw your attention to the fact that on March 27th of 2023, the Video Production Commission's ordinance was revised. And the majority, not all of the trustees at that time, voted to approve that. President Patrick voted for that, and he, of course, was our liaison. I'm not going to say much about his tenure as liaison. But so with respect to limited reporting, the Video Production Commission takes minutes, records our meetings. That's done all the time. Yes?
Bob, you're going to need to wrap it up.
Okay. I will also draw your attention to the Commissioner Handbook, which the Village Board approved, which also addresses those issues. So, lastly, I just want to thank the board for approving my appointment to the various commissions that I'm on. I've enjoyed serving on the commissions and serving the community that I love. And lastly, I will just say, if you're going to vote to dissolve these commissions, I would advise you to set a sunset date of the end of the year so that commissions can work together and the budget process for these commissions would be cleaner. Thank you.
Mary Ann Greco, I apologize. You were number 3 on the list here, and I got sidetracked. I
I knew you
apologize.
got to me. And then, of course, I decided maybe I put it in the wrong place.
No, you did right.
Thank you.
I did wrong.
Okay. Anyway, all right, so all of this has been said before. I'm going to repeat it, and I am disappointed that it needs to be saying again about the ordinances to restructure commissions. There does not seem to be any plan for a smooth transition. At the very least, the sunset idea that's come up a few times is probably the right thing. A lot of knowledge and time will be lost by removing experienced commissioners from active roles if these ordinances pass. Most of the reasons laid out in the white paper and the president's memo were easily things that could have been changed in the existing commissions. There was no need for a complete overhaul to affect the changes that you feel are needed. In the president's memo attached to this agenda, it says that the Environmental Concerns Commission initiative stalled due to uncertainty over authority or lack of clear reporting structures. Those were not the fault of the commission, and it would be far easier to fix those problems than dissolve the entire commission. Many of the other reasons for dissolving commissions could also have more easily and efficiently been addressed by keeping the commissions and talent intact. Naturally, as an Environmental Concerns Commissioner, I'm especially concerned about the loss of a commission to be a steward for the environment. Air pollution, water pollution, ground pollution, light pollution, noise pollution. They affect all areas of the village and all the people and all of the animals and plants living, and trees, we are the tree village, living in Villa Park. The whole environment, not just the parks of the Garden Village Commission, require careful oversight. Environmental consequences, good or bad, will last for generations. Also, be very careful splitting planning and zoning. The current thinking is to combine them, as so many experts have pointed out over and over again. I do wish potential new volunteers the very best. Most of you truly want what's best for Villa Park and will step up to the challenges. But don't let the board convince you it's the former volunteers' fault when things go wrong. The blame will be squarely on the trustees that voted in these overreaching ordinances. Personally, I will continue to champion environmental causes, but don't expect me to support bad policy. On the behavior of the board, gaslighting, bullying, attempts to discredit the character of those who disagree, and evading questions of each other and the very residents you swore to serve is not good governance. Those tactics destroy collaboration. Rapid changes to staff and massive sudden changes to commissions creates chaos, not efficiency.
Marianne, if you could wrap it up.
The voters are watching you. Please do the right thing, vote no, step back and make the right changes to the commission ordinances. Behave like you truly care about Villa Park.
Please, one thing I just want to say really quick before we move on to the next one. Nobody is blaming commissioners. So, next.
Do we have any other comments on agenda items? Please.
Two names are similar, though. So you have two Bobs.
I thought the list was going to be longer. Molly Cars.
I'm sorry, what was that again?
Molly Cars, 442 South Princeton. So a lot of people have talked about the Environmental Concerns Commission, so I think I'll just start there. I really want to encourage you to maintain the Environmental Concerns Commission. The proposed Garden Village Commission has 10 listed responsibilities. Of the 10, in 3 of them, kind of broadly, are mentioned environmental concerns. So I kind of think if you give it to Parks and Rec, they're so busy in the day-to-day things that they're doing that the environmental stuff is going to fall through the cracks. All their focus, all their energy is going to be on parks and green space, which is not what we want the Environmental Concerns Commission to focus on. So I really want you to show that you have a concern for sustainability and environmental protection, and show it with your vote tonight, with your action, to say, no, we're not going to get rid of that commission. So the second thing I wanted to talk about, which was really my first, but I'm going to make it second, is same thing I talked about last time I was here, is the commissions and the dismissal of the commission volunteers. I'm disappointed with the response from the board. I feel like you guys are sitting there and listening, but you're not really hearing what we're all saying. I'm new to coming to board meetings. Cows, I never heard of that before. Coffee with the board. So when they said you were going to put it off to talk about it at the cow and have some discussion, I thought that meant there was going to be like actual discussion where people like talk back and forth, but it kind of ran like a board meeting. So I was confused by it. So is there a time that we all can talk to you guys about these issues? The last meeting, I sent an email to every one of you, I think. I didn't get one response, but is that a normal thing? I'm not sure. Do you usually respond to emails? Because that's the first time I ever sent an email. But I think the sudden announcement of the new commissioners not only put the current commissioners in a bad spot, but also the new ones. Because you saw at the past meetings, people talked about how uncomfortable they were with the process and how they were appointed. So I think you really need to think about that as well. So I'm not sure if tonight we're just discussing it again or if there's going to be a decision, but I want you to rethink the plan and come back with one that shows that you've heard what we're telling you. Because it seems like it's the same agenda, nothing has changed after all we've said. So please rethink it and vote no tonight and come back with a different plan.
Comments on non-agenda items? Chuck Pickrell?
Go ahead, Vicki.
I apologize. My daughter's trying to buy a car tonight, and I'm like, I don't know. So I apologize. So thank you. And I just walked over here after hearing a lot of people speak and so forth, and I completely understand how people feel about this. I am currently on a commission, and I am appointed being considered to appoint to a new commission, and I understand people feel very, very upset about certain things and so forth and how it's being proceeded, which I think we need to move forward in an open mind and see how it moves forward. The other thing is we need to realize that the people here are not necessarily all the people that are speaking. So we need to know that everybody here, I understand you have concerns and you have thoughts about what we should do and how we move forward, but you need to realize that there are other 22,000 residents that may not choose to come here and speak. They may have said their preferences to the board and they have moved in that direction. So I think we need to understand that, and they may not feel comfortable coming to the board. So I understand that, and I think we all need to take that into consideration. So I just feel that, let them, we need to make sure that they feel like they're moving in the right direction. As far as taking planning and zoning into two commissions, Jared, I completely understand your points, though I do feel that in doing some research on the subject, there is some validity to putting them into two separate compartments at this time due to the fact that we want to promote our village and move forward for a lot of development. That is something that is definitely stressed when you are moving to a planning and a zoning commission. So instead of having them together, once we probably do become more developed, it may make sense to move back. But I do believe that the board is moving in our best interests and that we need to make sure that we support them in what they're doing, especially if it does move forward. We need to support every single one of them in what they do, how they're doing it, and move forward for our town and not reject it. So, thank you.
Comments on non-agenda items? Chuck Pickrell?
Good evening, folks. For the record, Justin Schlensky, SHLENSKY, for 436 North Fulton. I want to first thank my fellow commissioners and junior commissioners, who was there, for not only those on planning and zoning, but not only on planning and zoning, but all commissioners, as over the years we have dedicated the one resource that cannot be returned to us: time. Time away from work or other sources of income, time away from our other evening events, and the most precious, time away from our families and loved ones. My fellow commissioners, you were seen, you were heard, and you were appreciated. What I do not appreciate is being told about a month ago via an agenda posted on a Friday before a board meeting 3 days later that without any phone call or an email or other communication, that there's a proposal to dissolve the very well trusted and respected P&Z Commission that I serve on, and likewise the Environmental Concerns Commission, which I previously served on, and several other commissions that continue to provide valuable insight and guidance to this village. What I do not appreciate is the alleged rationale and evidence provided Support for this preposterous restructuring and establishment of new commissions is a seemingly AI-generated response to a prompt structure to justify these actions. What I do not appreciate is that we are being told that there is a problem to which this proposed ordinance solves when the truth is we all know that there is no problem. If this was a problem, the village board and previous trustees would not have overwhelmingly voted north of 90% of the time to approve the recommendations that P&Z provided. In fact, one of the votes that the village board voted against the recommendation of P&Z resulted in the village being sued. To that effect, the board would have been better off taking our recommendation. This is why I know that there's not a problem with P&Z. Kevin, in your blog post titled 3 Things I Learned in My First 30 Days as Village President, published only a few days ago on July 16th, you wrote that no single person can move a community forward on their own. Progress requires collaboration and sometimes compromise. As a leader, your job isn't to have all the answers. You go on to say that leadership is not about control, it's about connection. This proposed ordinance is all about control, and I've not heard a single thing to indicate that there is any compromise considered. Despite best efforts from commissioners and Trustee Kumar's proposed alternative, which I think is a fine alternative worthy of great consideration and discussion, I see that the writer disregards his own lessons. This is not how you build trust, connection, and community. This is how you divide. This proposal and its drafter lacks humility, one of the most treasured and respected traits of a true leader. It shows leadership when one admits that your idea may not be the best for this village. It takes leadership to acknowledge that you didn't get it right the first time, to pull back and start over. This is the time to admit that this proposal needs heavy improvement, such as a clear transition schedule and cadence, and a fair and open application process, of which I have not seen. I do not appreciate that policy and alleged rationale are being written by AI. This board serves its constituents, and we deserve much better than to be directed by software and algorithms. And frankly, we deserve much more than this flawed and divisive ordinance. I urge you to vote against 10C.
Thank you for following me. Next.
Chuck Pickrell again.
Can I,
Yes, please. In fact, why don't you just give them to me, and I will take care of that, and you can take the day off. Thanks.
what I'm here to talk to you about is a permit I was issued for a new construction house at 249 East Kenilworth. The upper box shows that I've paid $27,000 X amount of dollars for this permit. What I'm here to discuss is the last 3 lines. It says permit extension 650, 650, 650. Okay. I got a letter from the building department, Demita, and it said that my permit is expired and that I am no longer have a valid permit and I cannot do any work on the house. I'm very close to finishing it, but I'm not there yet. So I went and met them today, and they told me that as an olive branch, if I pay half the permit fee, they'll give me a 6-month extension. Well, as you can see, the 3 extensions were for a year, and I pulled the permit on November 8th, so I feel like I'm good till November 8th on my last extension, and I shouldn't have to extend my permit anymore. So after back and forth and some kind of heated discussions with one of the staff members, I decided to come here tonight, and that's it. I know you guys a lot of you ran on one of your things was to clean up the building department. Well, no, I've built over 30 houses in Villa Park, and I've never seen anything like this in my life. Thank you.
Thank you.
Jason Jarrett again?
I'll be quick. My name is Jason Jarrett. Some of you may know me from such commissions as the Planning and Zoning Commission, but I'm here wearing a different a hat, my bike helmet. I'm also the president of the Elmhurst Bike Club, which is a 450-plus organization in Villa Park. We launch a number of bike rides from Elmhurst, Villa Park, Lombard, Naperville, Downers Grove, throughout the community. I know that you guys have been talking a lot about e-scooters, e-bikes. Just a couple things I want to mention for you. First of all, if you decide to tackle e-bikes, I would ask you to reach out to bike advocates, and bike advocacy organizations like our own, Ride Illinois, League of American Bicyclists, there's others. But in Illinois, the three classes of legal e-bikes are not classified as motorized vehicles. They're recognized as bicycles. So they're entitled to essentially the same rules as bicycles. So if you consider rules against those, I would ask you to think carefully, because they allow older people who still want to get out and bike, or people who may not be as strong cyclists as others, to join people on longer rides, or to ride with their peers slightly longer than they might otherwise. As for the other micro-mobility devices, there's a lot of mixed feelings in the communities about that. What I would recognize is there are a number of those that would actually be classified as motor vehicles, like the incidents that was publicized from Elmhurst. That was not an e-bike, even though it was repeatedly referred to as an e-bike in the press. It was an e-motorcycle on the sidewalk in downtown Elmhurst. So I would just recommend that you reach out to people if you go that way. And, you know, I'm available. We also have a number of advocacy chairs who go out to various communities, to the park districts, to the forest preserve districts, and so on. And we actually are of the opinion that in most of these cases, the right path is education. The earlier you can start education, the better. If you educate both parents and children at school how to operate a bike, they become better operators of e-bikes and e-scooters when they get older, and they become better operators of motor vehicles, hopefully. That's the goal. So safety and education. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Larry Hebert, there you go.
The first thing I'd like to ask the board is, when the board is speaking together, and to please put your microphones towards your faces. Maybe you guys think we can hear, you're pretty good, Kevin, and you we can't miss. But the rest of you guys, we can't hear you. Okay, it's muffled. Some of us are older. We're going to be 75 next week. We're going to be a little old. We can't hear as well as we could. Okay, so please use your microphones. That's what they're there for. Oh yeah, the village attorney, you're another one. You're really good. Boy, when you speak. Okay, enough of that. Okay, the Village Park Review this week was a 2-page article that we haven't paid some bills back to 2024. Now, it's by a new, I don't know who this lady is that pays our bills, or who the lady was that was supposed to pay our bills. I haven't heard anything about that, and I'm hoping the village manager will, in one of your things that came out today, talk about this. It was very startling to say that we haven't paid the gas company for 3 months, and I can't remember all the rest, but that listed all the stuff we haven't paid, some bills back to 2024. Are we out of money? Do we need to turn off the lights? What is going on? Please, somebody address this elephant in the room. It's scaring the hell out of some of us because we're paying our taxes. I thought we passed a balanced budget. But now this article, front page, Villa Park's not paying its bills. Okay, that was a little scary. The third thing is, I really support getting Carrie in as the deputy village president.
Thank you very much. And Tom King?
All right, 2 quick items. First, I would like to recognize the Villa Park Mariners swim team. This year, they placed second place in the DePage Swim and Dive Conference Red Division. With this second place victory, they are promoted to the upper level White Division for 2026. So congratulations to the Villa Park Mariners swim team. Number 2, with respect to the lead service line replacement program, my wife and I took advantage of the retroactive benefit of this program. We had our lead service line replaced in 2024. This is not a complete list, but I would like to thank Public Works, the Public Works Department, Director Guerrera, Environmental Concerns, and the Village Board for making this program a reality. Prior to having our lead service line replaced, we had our water tested, and there was always between 1 and 2 parts per billion lead in our drinking water. And post-replacement, when we've had our water tested 2 times, the levels have been non-detectable. So in our case, I know we're one data point, we've basically eliminated lead from our drinking water of our home. I think there needs to be a proactive push for other community members to take advantage of this program and replace their lead service lines. Not only Flint, Michigan, but Jackson, Mississippi is also dealing with a water crisis, and I would hate for Villa Park to join that list. So I think we really need, as a community, to proactively push this program out so others can take advantage of replacing lead service lines for their drinking water. Thank you.
Do we have any other comments on non-agenda items? Bob Wagner?
Yeah, I'm here to talk about a presentation that the Environmental Concerns Commission had at its July 24th meeting. It is not really related to 11A, but it has to do with community solar. We had a presentation from Mary Lee Lung, who works for Accelerate Climate Solutions, and she was at our commission meeting to talk to us about a very large solar array project that's going to be located within DuPage County, and there's an opportunity exclusively for DuPage County residents to participate in this program. It's very much like an energy cooperative. You can buy essentially a share in the solar array and could potentially save up to 20% on your energy costs. Even residents who are participating in electrical aggregation, which is on the agenda, can still participate in the community solar program. And we've invited her to be with us. We plan to be at the National Night Out on August 5th. We asked her to be there with us. She would be very willing to come make a presentation to the village board. There's a limited number of subscriptions available. I think it's between 800 and 1,000, but it's a very great opportunity, only available for DuPage County residents, and the county is promoting this. So I feel very comfortable endorsing this idea, and it's a great opportunity. Thank you.
And that is it for comments on non-agenda. Oh, sir, please.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Yusuf. I'm here to hopefully clear a few misconceptions in hopes of us becoming less divided than we are today. The phrase I started my speech with, Assalamu alaikum, is an Islamic greeting which means peace be upon you. You might be surprised to find that Jesus, peace be upon him, also said this to his disciples as mentioned in Gospel of Luke, chapter 24, verse 36. Some of you might think that Islam is a relatively new religion that was created by Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, 1400 years ago. Actually, Islam, which means to surrender and submit your will to God, was there since the time man set foot on this earth. Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, did not create Islam, but was the last and final messenger. Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, said that there were 124,000 prophets that were sent on the face of this earth. All of the prophets that were previously sent, like Prophet Noah, Abraham, Moses, Jesus, peace be upon them all, were sent only for their people, and their message as a whole was meant to be followed only for that specific time period. Since Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, was the last and final messenger, he was sent as a mercy to all of the worlds. It is mentioned in the Holy Quran, in Surah Al-Anbiya, chapter 21, verse 107, "We have not sent you except as a mercy to all of the worlds." It is also mentioned in the Holy Quran, in Surah Saba, chapter 34, verse 28, "We did not send you for all mankind except to bring them glad tidings and to warn, but most people do not know." Some of you might think that God of the Muslims is a different God because Muslims say that their God is Allah. Well, if you look in the Arabic Bible, used by over 10 million Arab Jews and Christians, you will find that the word God in English is translated to the word Allah in many places in the Bible. For example, it is mentioned in the Old Testament, in the book of Genesis, chapter 1, verse 1, "In the beginning, Allah created the heaven and the earth." I end with the following verse from the Holy Quran that answers the question, who is our creator and God, Allah? It is mentioned in Surah Al-Ikhlas, chapter 112, verse 1 to 4, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, say He is Allah, the only one and unique. Allah, the absolute, the eternal, who is in need of none and of whom all are in need. He neither begat nor was He begotten, and there is none comparable to Him. Thank you.
And with that, we are done with comments on non-agenda items.
Are there any other comments on non-agenda items? Okay, seeing none, we're going to move along. There are no proclamations this evening, so we move along to item 8, the consent agenda, the approval of the minutes of the Committee of the Whole meeting held on June 9th, 2025, the approval of the minutes of the Village Board of Trustees meeting held on June 9th, 2025, and the bill listings of the week of July 7th, 2025, in the amount of $616,641.30. And July 14th, 2025, in the amount of $531,164.09. Do I have a motion for the consent agenda? Trustee Kumar, do I have a second?
Second.
Trustee Kozar, seconds. Is there any discussion?
I have a question.
Trustee Alfano.
Yes, thank you. Are the minutes in the packet for public to see? I am not seeing that.
I don't know. I didn't put together the packet.
Okay.
I submitted minutes.
I would like to make a motion then that we table A and B because we don't have the minutes there.
Okay, I have a motion to table consent agenda A and B until next meeting, which
So we have the minute, yeah.
is, let's see here, which would be August 11th.
I second it.
Okay, the motion made by trustee Alfano, seconded by trustee Cordova. Is there any discussion? Okay, seeing none, roll call vote, please.
Trustee Alfano.
Yes.
Trustee Cordova.
Yes.
Trustee Consantos. I'm sorry. Trustee Kozar.
Yes.
Trustee Kumar.
Yes.
Trustee Sabri.
Yes.
Okay.
The ayes have it.
Do I have a motion for consent agenda 8C?
Yeah, current
Oh,
motion stands.
okay, thank you. Okay, so then roll call vote on 8C, please. Hold on one second.
Sorry.
Trustee Alfano.
Yes, I do have just one question. If Director Mikas is here this evening, just one question on a number.
Could you open that door there and ask Vika to join us?
Finance Director, is that who you're asking for?
Yes. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. King.
Just a question? No, you didn't miss a question.
Okay.
I'm just asking if I can ask you a question. I just wanted to verify that we are up to speed on some of our utilities. Particularly, we have some Nicor gas. One in particular, I'm trying to find the page, was on Monterey. It was for $700. I just wanted to make sure that we're not in arrears, we're not behind, but these are monthly. Do we know?
Not,
for
as
sure?
far as I know, with the Nicor invoices, we are caught up to date on those. There is some discussion that we're working with ComEd, because there's some issues with some of the invoices. It appears that when they get the check from us, that they're applying it to one account rather than dispersing it through all of our accounts. And so we're actually working with Suzanne Stingmeyer, who's the ComEd representative for this area. And she is handling that for us, and we're working closely with her. So, but that's the only vendor at this moment that there's a glitch, if you will, is what I would refer it to.
Okay, thank you.
I apologize
Are
for
there
that.
any other questions? Okay, Clerk Lauken, roll call vote, please.
If you don't mind 30 seconds here,
No worries.
I have some technical issues, and I apologize. Roll call vote. Trustee Alfano.
Yes.
Trustee Cordova.
Yes.
Trustee Kozar.
Yes.
Trustee Kumar.
Yes.
Trustee Sabri.
Yes.
The ayes have it.
Okay. Moving along to agenda item 9A, the ordinance for first reading, an ordinance amending section 14-207C, no parking zones of the Villa Park Municipal Code. Manager Rivas.
Thank you, Mr. President. To approve an ordinance to amend Section 14-207C, no parking zones for the deletion of no parking restriction on the north side of Wildwood Avenue from Illinois Avenue to a point 190 feet east of the east right-of-way line of Euclid Avenue, and the addition of a no parking restriction on the south side of Wildwood Avenue from Illinois Avenue to Myrtle Avenue. And we have Public Works Director Mike Ware here for any questions you may have.
Being that this is a first reading, is there any discussion? Trustee Alfano.
Yes, I am happy that this is finally to us. I know that this came to us at Coffee with the Board and has brought up multiple times, both at Coffee with the Board and here in comments. I am happy to see some movement on this. I made some comments about that within the last month or so from here, so thank you very much for having this finally to us.
Trustee Kozar.
I'd make a motion to waive the first reading. Seems like we've talked about this a lot over the course of the last 6 months or more. Traffic and safety has certainly talked about it, so motion to waive the first reading.
Okay, I have a motion to waive the first reading by Trustee Kozar. Do I have a second? Trustee Alfano. Any discussion? Seeing none, Clerk Lauken, roll call vote, please.
This would be a voice vote, I believe.
Okay.
Ayes?
Aye.
Aye.
Nays?
Nay.
Okay, seeing none, that passes. All right, moving along to item 10A, ordinance for second reading. An ordinance of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, amending Article 28 of Chapter 2 of the Villa Park Municipal Code, dissolving the Economic Development Commission and creating the Villa Park Growth Commission. Manager Rivas.
Thank you, Mr. President.
First reading, you have to vote on it.
It was, if I may, it was to waive the first reading and approve, was it wasn't said specifically like that, but that's what the vote was intended as? Correct?
Yes. I mean, we can do it again if you want.
Just a point of clarification. I thought it was we waive the first one, then we read it as a second, and then vote on it, correct?
Yeah, that's what we did.
To waive a reading means that you don't have to go to the second reading.
Right, but then
automatically
don't-
into the vote.
Did we vote on,
To pass it.
on waiving it?
We voted on waiving it.
Then we have to vote on it as a seconded, right?
That,
Typically, the vote to waive is combined with the vote to approve. This is the first time since I've been up here where this has happened at your meeting, so I'm not sure what your normal procedure is. If you want to have a second vote, you can, but the implication to me was that it was approved by waiving first reading.
Yeah, so what we've always done, and
Okay.
I think you agree, right?
So
Go ahead.
let's revisit 9A for a vote. Okay. So do I have a motion for the first reading, or for the ordinance?
I'll make that motion.
Okay, Trustee Kozar. Do I have a second? Trustee Sabri. Is there any discussion?
Yes. It's not in here, but do we have traffic and safety that said they would recommend this as well?
That's who it came from.
They voted five voted for it. 3 members did not attend the meeting. It's right there.
Yeah, I was looking at the agenda.
Is there any other discussion? Okay. Roll call vote, please.
Absolutely. Trustee Alfano.
Yes.
Trustee Cordova.
Yes.
Trustee Kozar.
Yes.
Trustee Kumar.
Yes.
Trustee Sabri.
Yes.
Okay, moving along to ordinance for second reading, 10A, an ordinance of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, amending Article 28 of Chapter 2 of the Villa Park Municipal Code, dissolving the Economic Development Commission and creating the Villa Park Growth Commission. Manager Rivas, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. This ordinance amends Chapter 3, Section 2-28 of the Economic Development Commission, dissolving the Economic Development Commission and creating the Villa Park Growth Commission in its place. This ordinance received a first reading on June 23, 2025, and was discussed at the COW meeting on July 14, 2025.
Is there a motion for the ordinance?
I'll make that motion.
Trustee Kozar, is there a second?
I second.
Trustee Sabri, discussion. Trustee Kumar.
The white paper is attached to this particular ordinance, so I am going to basically discuss my feelings on the white paper, which I have a lot of issues with. I think the current board believes in a single solution at this point, chopping down the tree to get rid of a bug on an infected branch. There are many solutions to problems. There is more than one way to address a problem. We need to effectively compromise to do what's best for Villa Park. Asking difficult questions and understanding the court of public opinion are crucial in this process. And cynicism seems to be predominating our new board at this point. Just because you make a compromise doesn't mean everything is lost. You can get what you want and eat it too. So, but to get to exactly what I'm getting to, there's a problem with the white paper in many ways. So, new commissions are almost fully staffed in this white paper. Old commissions had many openings that people could have joined, but the new commissions are fully staffed. So if you take Villa Park Groves, Community Recreation, Plan Commission, Garden Commission, and the Zoning Board of Appeals, all of them are fully staffed with what is on this agenda, except for the Zoning Board of Appeals that has only 2 seats left. Right? And as Jason Jarrett pointed out, he would really love it if some old commissioners got on there. So that's a problem. By replacing almost all the members, the continuity of a commission and the work will be broken. Okay? And that's a problem. If you see, there were 41 people on 6 committees plus the Fund Commission, which and the Historical and the Senior Commission had 16 people. Those 16 stay, but we've gone down to 25 out of 41. Now, if you read our targets for strategic goals, and because this is supposed to align with our strategic goals, and I know Trustee Alfano will appreciate this because she brought this to the table during our strategic meeting. Our goal for 6/27 in June of 2027 is a 10% increase in village volunteers. This automatically shuts down that goal even before we start. So we're not aligning with the strategic plan at all, which is what we're supposed to do according to this white paper. Experience is being disparaged. Right? There are only 5 people that are currently serving in a commission, and only 2 that will be serving in a similar commission. One is Vicky Flaxcamp, who has come and made her statement. The other is Lynn Smith, who also has come and made her statement with regards to that, are moving to a closest commission, right? Joey DiTomaso, Tom King, Jason Jarrett, kind of moving to a kind of a commission similar. Only 5 people are being retained. So what does that mean? 90% of our commissioners are not being retained. 90%. It is the board's job to provide oversight to the commissions. Restructuring the commissions simply passes the blame from the board to the commissioners. And I'm part of this fault because I was the old board. Only Tina and Cal can be let off of the hook on this one because I was part of the old board. And if we haven't told the boards what, the commissions what to do, that's our fault. That is none of the commissioners' fault, neither the old or the new. Okay, that's our fault. So that's something to know. This is especially relevant with respect to traffic and safety, right? Traffic and safety wasn't given what it was supposed to be given. On page 36 of your white report, when discussing the issues with commissions, it says many commissions lacked defined standard terms, attendance expectations, or mechanisms to connect recommendations with village planning and budget process. Attendance was always part of the commission's duties. Page 37 and 38 list the reasons that these changes are necessary. All the items listed relate to how the ordinance is written, including the objectives, mandates, and priorities. So there are problems there. Comparison cities used in this paper. You're comparing apples to oranges. Naperville, Oberlin, Ohio, Raleigh. Okay? Naperville has a population of 150,245. Oberlin, Ohio has a population of 707,697. And Raleigh, North Carolina has a population of 500,000. If we were really going to compare, we should compare to Darien, Roselle, Bloomingdale, and Bensonville. And as everybody knows, I'm a statistician, so I don't like comparisons well. This process is not being done in the proper order. There was no order. If you were going to finalize ordinances, we should discuss dissolving the commissions before appointing new people to commissions. If you haven't dissolved the commissions, how are you appointing new people to commissions? Big problem. And I asked for processes to be discussed. I asked in the last meeting. I asked that it be put in on the agenda. It wasn't put in. I just want to clarify that. I did ask for a process. That process was not followed. So the process hasn't been followed from day one. Restructuring is not equitable in terms of duties and expectations, and not all duties are covered. Some duties are antiquated, but not all. Now, one thing is, we're going to a zoning board of appeals. The closest place that has a zoning board of appeals is Chicago, and they set that up in 1923. Tell me that's new. That's more than 100-odd years new. It's nothing new. It's not up to date. Get your facts right. No technology-related commission, which is what I was suggesting. We need that help. We need a technology-related commission. We as the board could use that, but that's not included. Commissions need to align with resident needs. It's not about what the president wants. It's not about what I want. It's not about anything that the trustees want. The environmental concerns and throwing parks together, it's a disaster. It gives too much for 5 people to do. There are 5 people in this commission have to do 500 things. Some other commissions have 3 things to do. Why would you do that? Not even at all. Plans and streets together, where will you go? On the last, when I was at actually traffic and safety, I came running there because I was really passionate about the issue with the e-scooters. And I'm a very passionate trustee. The e-scooters was passionate, and I wanted to deal with that. And I went there, and there were 2 really good board members. One was Vicky, and the other one was Trish, and they were out there trying to make change. And I understand you need change. I understand that you need good change, and you felt that that change wasn't happening in that. I absolutely understand that, and that was actually, you need to find the root of the problem. The cause was a little bit about staff. It's not about what the commissioners were doing. It was what staff was given too much input in those commissions. We need to change that as a board, okay? Need actual data in the paper rather than generalities. Your pie chart, absolute disaster, okay? You cannot put ranges in a pie chart. Don't make mistakes if you're gonna provide evidence. That was a total mistake. Ranges in a pie chart, absolutely wrong, okay? And if we change the commissions to what we have, we go from an equitable age distribution of commissioners to a little sliver of older commissioners, a very little sliver, and a big set of new commissioners. Absolutely not even, okay? Costs. We are worried about our budget. There are costs to changing commissioners. We should not waste money now. We don't have money. The Hebraids came out, yes, we don't have money to waste. This is free service that we give up. There are costs to the current restructure plan, increased paid staff hours we're gonna have because all our nice volunteers are gonna leave and the staff is gonna take over, right? We're gonna have to pay them. The negative publicity from this conversion already turned away 2 businesses that I know, okay?
Trustee Kumar, I need you to stop you right there. Per the email that I sent out before our special
I got
meeting
10
last
minutes,
week,
yes. Oh, wait.
You have 10 minutes. Once the other board members have a response, then you have another opportunity. So, a couple of things that I want to say first of all, regarding our goals of volunteers in the comprehensive plan is that this is 2025. You said 2027. We're not there yet. Also, you had mentioned that you had asked for your packet or whatever information that you had to be a part of the agenda. And you have been on this board for 4 years now. And you have been a part of how our policy and procedures work. And you also have the information that we have. And according to our policy, and I will read it verbatim, if 2 or more trustees submit in writing to the village manager, village clerk, and village president a request for a specific item to be placed on the agenda in a timely fashion, it shall be added to the agenda. An item for new business, which you are suggesting, must be submitted at least 5 days prior to the meeting to be included in new business, or 2 weeks prior to the meeting if the request, like you're suggesting, includes direction to staff for a resolution or an ordinance to be prepared. Furthermore, an email sent from their village email address shall serve as adequate written notice. The timestamp of the email shall serve as the timestamp to determine if the notice was sent in a timely fashion. You did send an email. However, no other trustee seconded it. Lastly, the pie chart that you talk about is regarding the tenureship of all commissioners in Villa Park. And I'm sorry that you don't like the pie chart, but the information is on our website, accessible to everybody, and all you have to do is some basic math to see that over 60% of all of our commissioners have served a term of 6 years or longer, some being on a commission for 17 years. Is there any other discussion?
Oh, yeah.
Trustee Cordova.
So just 2 things I just sent, and I apologize for being late on it, but I just sent a second for that email she sent last week.
Just to clarify, you just sent a second to the email that she
That's
sent
what I
last
said, yeah,
week to be posted on an agenda
Not
for today?
for the next one.
Okay.
So I want to start, and I wrote my notes, I'm not going to take too much time, but I want to start by saying that my vote tonight is in no reflection of the individuals newly appointed to these commissions. I fully respect anyone who chooses to step up and serve their community, and I look forward to reaching out and getting to know as many of them as I can in the coming weeks. That said, I'm going to be voting no on the dissolving of the commissions, not the commissioners themselves. I believe that the process that led to this point was deeply flawed. There was no open call for volunteers, little to no to zero outreach to sitting commissioners, and very few opportunities for real dialogue about what these changes would mean. Feedback that was provided, whether by residents, board members, commissioners, was largely left unacknowledged. What's most disappointing, I think, is that this could have been done differently. I think if there were concerns about structure, participation, or alignment with the village's long-term goals, we could have addressed those together. With the people already serving, with thoughtful adjustments, with community input, and those that may be coming forward. Instead, what we've done is created swirl. We moved forward with sweeping overhaul without clarity, without criteria, and without meaningful involvement from the public. I can't support that kind of process, not because I don't believe in change, because I truly do, but because how we go about change matters. We owe our residents a process that they could trust, one that invites participation, builds understanding, and respects those who have already given their time. The 33-page memo cites our Confung's work with to support this restructuring, but it misses the point. Fung advocates the participation that is collaborative and grounded in lived experience, where residents help shape decisions from the beginning and not after the fact. His work is about giving people real power, not just changing structures on paper. I sent him an email today because I truly like his work. And what he sent back, I can generalize it and forward it through to my personal or to my email so you guys can read it. But a couple starting points that run throughout my work on participatory governance are first that reform efforts should always begin with a sense of what the problem is. That is, what is not working in the existing governance arrangements and institutions. Second, the forms and avenues of citizen participation. What people are being asked to do and contribute should be clear and also geared toward address the problem, which again is participation, time, and no clear goals. So I think the big piece for us is, I would say to us up here, we can vote no, we can take this back and do it the right way. Give ourselves an opportunity to not alienate, not to bring this swirl here, and listen to what that feedback has been. Because if you're getting the same kind of emails I am, we've heard hours and hours of people coming up, and it's not landing very well. So these votes matter, and like I said, I will only take it on this resolution, and then I'll stay quiet the rest. So that's it. Thank you.
Is there any other discussion? Trustee Alfano?
Yes, thank you. I hear that there have been a lot of people coming who have been volunteers and members of commissions, many of them for years. And what people don't see and what people don't hear, because quite frankly, there are folks out there that do not feel comfortable coming here and never really have. But they want to volunteer. They don't want to come here to a meeting, but they don't feel like they are welcomed. They don't feel like they matter. They don't feel like when they have put in an application, it goes unnoticed, it goes unanswered, they never hear anything, and so their volunteerism goes elsewhere. And those are the people that we're not hearing from. So when we do hear from people who are active and have been active for a very long time, I also want people to consider that there are people who are reaching out to us, who are talking to us, who are saying, yeah, but I don't feel that. I don't feel like there's a place for me. There's a part for me in this community. And I think that that's something that we need to consider as well. I also want to address the idea that we have failed the commissions. I have listened. I'm not always able to attend commission meetings, but I do listen to them, and I'm happy that we have those recorded. And I listened to one commission, I will refrain from saying which one, where they felt that they were tasked as an advisory commission, and it was not their job to tell us as a board what they needed, that we are supposed to ask them what we needed from them. And I kind of feel like that's where the brokenness is, right? Like, I don't know what to ask from certain commissions because I'm not that expert. And if I'm hearing from those experts that they're waiting for me to give them advisory or to give them advice or to give them a job, I struggle with that. And I feel like maybe it is broken and maybe we do need to start over again. My vote tonight will not reflect how I personally feel about any commissioner or any soon-to-be commissioner, because I do believe in volunteerism. I do believe that where you spend your time matters. But I do think that we do need to take a look at how we are moving forward in Villa Park with the commissions. Thank you.
I'm not getting the same emails as you. In fact, I'm having many other conversations that are completely opposite of what you're saying. We have just under 25,000 people in this town that we are responsible for. And when I look at the people, the commission members that are out here tonight, that are coming and speaking the loudest, is that I've only gotten an email from maybe a couple of you. Maybe a couple of you. So I'm not hearing the same as what you are. But there are many more people than who have come here tonight and over the weeks expressing the importance of doing what we are doing. So I just wanted to clarify that. Is there any other comments? Trustee Kumar.
I would like to continue with my comments. Well, some of the stuff in the white paper talked about inactivity of meetings and cancellations. Well, if you're doing that, why are you keeping the Senior Concerns Commission and the Historical Preservation Commission? This is a one-man show. This is a one-man plan out. I don't think half the board has involvement in what was going on, because I hear you, Trustee Alfano. I hear that others are coming out. But honestly, if they were coming out, they wouldn't only come out to you and Kevin. They would come out to all of us, right? They would reach out to all of us. I haven't actually found people say I'm a difficult person to talk to. It's very difficult. I haven't gotten hate mails. I haven't gotten hate things. Hundreds and hundreds of people have reached out to me, and I've never been this popular. Honestly, I was never this popular till this commission thing came out. And honestly, thank you, because you're making me hugely popular over this, because I am standing as the person who is on the side of reason, on the side of compromise, on the side of understanding that this restructuring is not what the 20,000 or so Villa Park residents want. We had 35 people come out to speak, 2 in behalf of this change, and 33 against this change at the first meeting. There were people that came to the cow. You're not listening to the people of Villa Park. I am actually seriously worried about what you are doing here, Kevin. You're not listening. You're not hearing. You're a friend from District 48. A lot of the friends are telling me this as well. There are commissioners who have dropped, good friends of yours, people who trusted you from the beginning, who have dropped their commission, the commission appointment you gave them. There are 3 people who dropped it. They don't want to have anything to do with this. There's a lady who came out and said, I don't want to be your commissioner. She came running. I don't want to go against my friends. Why aren't you hearing all this? I understand there may be people coming to some of you complaining. That I understand. There will always be that. But if they're not open enough to come to everybody to talk, and you can't spell out who they are, why are they trying to help this village? Be honest, be clear, be forthright. Now, to go on with costs, you still haven't talked about costs here. There are costs to losing commissioners. There's hours of onboarding necessary, people. We have costs. We have expenses. You've been complaining about budgets, financial situations. They didn't pay this bill. They didn't pay that bill. We don't want to add costs to this village. We do not. We have a lot of free service. We want to inculcate everybody. My plan was not to leave out one commissioner. We can't afford it. All of your commissioners, plus all of the commissioners, we're going to work together to help this village. Not one commissioner was going to be left out of this picture. But no, it's my way or the highway. That's all I see here. There's an exodus of volunteers. They're going to leave. What are we going to do with that? How are we going to pay for that? There's a loss of experienced and dedicated volunteers. That's going to negatively impact quality provided to business interests and developers, especially in terms of planning and zoning. Okay? I'm not against change, by the way. I just think if it's not broke, you don't fix it. Whether it's your air conditioning unit or the commissions. Some work really well. Environmental concerns and planning and zoning, they're great. They provide good information. They stay within budget, right? They keep their budgets. They have junior commissioners. You didn't answer the junior commissioner issue, honestly, because his commission is being disbanded. Saying he can stay in a commission that doesn't exist is impossible, Kevin. It's just not possible. They're staffed with a good spread of individuals, have new and old commissioners, are modernized, serve the public well, have few cancellations. They don't have that many cancellations, give consistent recommendations, and simply work well. So why are we changing the good to get rid of the bad? Doesn't make sense to me. Keep the good, get rid of the bad. I admit some commissions don't work well. I'm fine with that. I will be voting yes to get rid of them. But you have to understand, you have to keep the good stuff in Villa Park. That keeps the people in Villa Park. That keeps everybody happy, okay? We have duties that are being let out: fostering clean air, clean water, safe land, representing the village metropolis and mayor's caucus, cool DuPage, pumpkin smash, clean sweep, cooking oil recycling. Those all are part of the Environmental Concerns Commission. Who's gonna do all that? I hope that you are ready to take your kids there and sit in a freezing weather on a Saturday morning, pouring oil in a container, right? When it's freezing. That's the kind of commitment. Now, you said you listened to the meeting, Carrie. That was the meeting they said that at. That was the meeting. You don't think that shows notoriety?
Okay.
Okay?
I deliberately did not, may I?
Hold on. You'll have an opportunity. Go ahead.
Yes, let me finish. I am in favor of term limits, okay? Commissioners on only one commission. I understand there's people sitting around forever. I am not in favor of that. More clearly defining the objectives of commissions. Delineating duties to ensure that they do not overlap in commissions. I'm in favor of that. Clear budgeting processes. Absolutely in favor of that. Dissolving commissions that have low attendance or inactivity. Makes sense. If you can't go to a commission, that makes sense. Historical preservation, economic development, and senior concerns don't meet that much. So nobody can go to address their concerns there. Understood. Let's remove them. Changing commission purpose to align with current priorities is good. That's a really good thing. But just changing it point blank because we thought of this is a bad thing. Think it through. I ask that all of the board members think it through. Realize that voting with something means someone. Realize that this will affect all your future. You know, as you said, if you are against some of these commissioners, they won't feel comfortable talking to you anymore. It's the truth. They don't feel comfortable because you devalued years and years of their service. This has nothing to do with commissioners coming out, but you devalued it. That's what you did. And so I hope you do not vote for some of these changes. I will be voting to dissolve the Economic Development Commission. I will not be voting to dissolve environmental concerns. I will not be voting to change planning and zoning. I will not be voting to remove traffic and safety at this point until we revisit what we actually need to do with that, and the Video Production Commission. So that's how I'm going to move on this one. Thank you.
Are you done?
Yes?
Okay. Trustee Alfano.
Yes, thank you. In my conversations with residents this summer, I've been asked about the commissions and the restructuring. And I was asked why that was needed in the first place. But the second question then has almost always been, can the village operate without commissions? So my question is, first, and I'm not done with my comments, but can the village operate without commissions? Are there certain commissions that do need?
Yeah, there are 3 state-mandated commissions. You have the Police and Fire Commission, you have the Local Liquor Control Commission, and the Planning and Zoning, or the Zoning Board of Appeals Commission.
Okay, so I do apologize to those residents who asked me that because I said 2. I did not say 3. I thought there were 2. And that's kind of what my gut said, but I know what my heart wants for our community. I do know that our commissions are a way that our village life is enhanced. And I think that that's important. I do want to remind everyone on the board that we are to be referred to as trustees, not just by first name. So Trustee Kumar, please make sure that you address me as Trustee Alfano if you are going to comment, and address me in any of your comments. Also, I deliberately did not say the name of the commission that I had referred to because I have integrity and I have respect for the commission and did not think that that was called for. I'm very sorry to hear that you did. And that's all I have to say.
Attorney Morton.
Thank you. I just wanted to address one item, Trustee Kumar, that you had brought up and a lot of residents have brought up as well, and I just want to clarify this. Junior commissioner membership is not going away. It is not part of any of these ordinances. The junior membership on advisory committees is in section 2-1404 of the Village Code, and that is not being amended. Any current junior commissioners, their term expired after 1 year anyway, so they would have needed to be reappointed. And the village president will have the opportunity, with the advice and consent of the village board, to appoint junior commissioners in the future to any of these advisory commissions.
You know, Trustee Kumar, you've also challenged me, and it might have been other board members up here, to name the residents that we have communicated with, but yet you said up here in your own words that you've communicated with hundreds and hundreds of residents. I guess my question, and I don't need an answer now, but are you willing to go through the same process of divulging those names? This is simple. This is restructuring. This is something new. This is what we are supposed to do. This is responsible. This has not happened in so very long. Is there any other discussion? Okay, seeing none, roll call vote, please.
Trustee Alfano.
Yes.
Trustee Cordova.
No.
Trustee Kozar.
Yes.
Trustee Kumar.
Yes.
Trustee Sabri.
Yes.
Okay, moving along to 10B, an ordinance of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, amending Articles 13 and 25 of Chapter 2 of the Villa Park Municipal Code, dissolving the Parks and Recreation Advisory Commission and the Environmental Concerns Commission, and creating the Gardage Village Commission and the Community Recreation Commission. Manager Rivas.
Thank you, Mr. President. This ordinance amends Chapter 3, Section 2-13 Parks and Recreation Advisory Commission and 2-25 Environmental Concerns Commission, dissolving both commissions and creating in their place the Garden Village Commission and the Community Recreation Commission. This ordinance received a first reading on June 23, 2025, and was discussed at the COW meeting on July 14, 2025.
Do I have a motion for the ordinance?
I'll make that motion.
Trustee Kozar, do I have a second?
I second.
Trustee Sabri. In discussion? Trustee Kumar.
I already said I am not in favor of dismantling the Environmental Concerns Commission. I am not against installing a growth commission. So I do not know how to improve, or I will ask the legal counsel how we can make this ordinance or make an amendment to address that.
So you're asking legal counsel on how you are able to make an amendment to an ordinance?
Yes, I would like to know how I could amend it to keep the Environmental Concerns Commission, but also create the Growth Commission.
Trustee, you could make a motion to amend this ordinance to remove the dissolution of the Environmental Concerns Commission. That would be the easiest way to go about that. There is some overlap, obviously, from the Environmental Concerns Commission's duties to the Garden Village Commission's duties, but that could be addressed later. The simplest way to do what you're asking is just to amend the ordinance that's in the packet and before the board to remove the section 4 of the ordinance that dissolves the Environmental Concerns Commission.
I would like to amend this ordinance to remove the ordinance, the section that dissolves the Environmental Concerns Commission, and continue with the rest of this.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Trustee Cordova. Is there any discussion?
This is, no, sorry.
Trustee Cordova.
This is just the opportunity to make a change here, so let's see if we can do that.
Any other discussion? Okay.
Hold on.
Trustee Alfano.
My question is this something then that would be brought up at a later time, or is this something that we expect the ECC would exist in tandem?
I did not make the motion.
I know.
So the motion at hand right now is to amend to remove it. We can address that if you'd like. Are you,
Yeah, I'm all done.
Trustee
Go
Kumar?
ahead.
Trustee Kumar?
I would like to answer Trustee Alfano. I am fine with bringing this up at a later point. I think at this point, anyway, we will have to have discussion of the splitting of duties in this aspect. Again, I am not against the Growth Commission.
Is there any other discussion? Okay, there is a motion to amend by Trustee Kumar and seconded by Cordova. Roll call vote, please.
Trustee Alfano.
No.
Trustee Cordova.
Yes.
Trustee Kozar.
No.
Trustee Kumar.
Yes.
Trustee Sabri.
No.
That motion does not pass, so we will continue with the discussion as the ordinance as discussing. Is there any other discussion on the original ordinance? Seeing none, roll call vote, please.
Trustee Alfano.
Yes.
Trustee Cordova.
No.
Trustee Kozar.
Yes.
Trustee Kumar.
No.
Trustee Sabri.
Yes.
Okay, that ordinance passes. Moving along to 10C, an ordinance of Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, amending articles. We've got 16 and 17 of Chapter 2 of the Villa Park Municipal Code, dissolving the Planning and Zoning Commission and creating the Plan Commission and the Zoning Board of Appeals, and amending Chapter 18 regarding planning and development. Manager Rivas.
Thank you, Mr. President. This ordinance amends Chapter 3, Sections 2-16, Planning and Zoning Commission, and 2-17, dissolving the Planning and Zoning Commission and creating in its place the Plan Commission and a Zoning Board of Appeals. The ordinance also amends Chapter 18, Sections 18-102, 18-201, 18-202, and 18-203, Planning and Development. This ordinance received a first reading on June 23, 2025, and was discussed at the COW meeting on July 14, 2025.
Do I have a motion for the ordinance?
I'll make that motion.
Trustee Kozar, do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Trustee Sabri. Is there any discussion? Trustee Alfano.
I would like to amend the ordinance just until after the public hearings of August 14th, maybe through August 21st, if there is already a public hearing established, as we heard from Commissioner Jarrett this evening.
Do I have a second for the motion to amend?
I'll second it.
So we have a motion to amend the, you want to dissolve?
To dissolve it after August, or on August 21st, so we can get through the public hearing of August 14th.
So that was made by Alfano, seconded by Trustee, I'm sorry? Kozar, sorry. Okay.
If I may, just before any of the trustees give their comments, just to clarify, I think that what you're asking for is an amendment to Section 10 of the ordinance then, which says that this ordinance shall be in full force and effect from and after its passage. We would just insert there that it would be effective, did you say August 20, what did you say?
21st, that would be the
21st.
week after public hearing.
And then I would just for a point of clarity, typically, and I represent a number of zoning boards, typically we're over 2 weeks out now, they would not have been reviewing the hearing materials yet at this point.
Okay.
Typically, I'm not speaking for what they would have done here, but unless these are continued hearings from a prior meeting, the first opportunity these current commissioners would see it is the same time new commissioners would see it.
Oh, okay. So are these new, or are they
These are new.
continuing? They are new?
Yes.
Okay.
Right. Yeah, sure.
At least one of the matters is an open public hearing?
It was, the public hearing was continued from a prior meeting?
Yes.
Thank you for that clarification. I would agree then that postponing it would make sense.
Okay.
Thank you.
Trustee Cordova.
So so we're going to dissolve it, but we're going to ask them to stay on for an extra couple weeks to do the important stuff that they were on the commission to do, right? Is that correct? That's why we're doing it, so they can finish the work they've been doing?
Is that to me?
Yeah, or just anyone, just.
That was the argument that we heard this evening.
Trustee Kozar.
Mr. President, can you ask the Community Development Director, Michelle House, to kind of brief us on what is coming before Planning and Zoning and what her thoughts are on the matter?
Yes. Mary Rivers.
Do you want me to go here?
Whichever you feel most comfortable.
Just start here. There is one case that was continued from our prior Planning and Zoning Commission meeting that was continued to a date certain of August 14th. And then there are two new variations that would be heard at this that we've already done a public notice for as well. Both variations, one being on the same property that was continued, 10 South Charles. That one we had previously considered a rezoning of that property. The commission recommended a variation to be heard for the proposed accessory structure instead of a rezoning. And so that case was continued. Depending on the commission's recommendation, will depend on what happens with that case. And then the other case is a variation for fence height.
Is it your opinion that a new commission can handle these 1 + 2, 3 matters coming before them?
The case that was continued, there was a lot of discussion regarding rezoning or taking the variation route for the accessory structure. That one may be beneficial to have the existing commission here due to consensus kind of discussed at that meeting for the applicant to receive direction and continue on their application.
The other two, not so much?
The fence variation, I think, could go to a new commission with new commissioners. The variation, so there's the case that's continued for rezoning. Then there's the same property. One of the applications was for a variation for the same property. So those two are in a way together.
Got it. Okay, thank you.
Is there any other discussion? Okay, there is a motion and a second amending this ordinance. Roll call vote, please.
Trustee Alfano.
Yes.
Trustee Cordova.
Yes.
Excuse me. Trustee Kozar.
Yes.
Trustee Kumar.
Yes.
Trustee Sabri.
Yes.
Okay.
I have a point of clarification on that, please. Sorry.
Um,
So are you
nope.
saying that planning and zoning meeting will continue for the next month?
Planning and zoning will be dissolved on 21st if this motion passes.
So then you said that she said that one of the issues would definitely be productive if they keep going forward. I'm just trying to understand, sorry.
Yep.
So that there one issue, so.
And Vicki, we can touch base after the meeting. Thank you. All right, so that has passed. So moving forward to, we're going to 10D. We've done everything we should on the 10C, right? Okay. Yeah. Is there any other discussion before we vote on the amended ordinance. Trustee Kumar.
I just am not in favor of splitting planning and zoning. It is absolutely antiquated, unnecessary. There's super lot of evidence that that's not the way to go. The stuff brought forth in the white paper is not significant, not actually clarified. It's old school. And if we're moving to modernization, we should move to modernization. We're not modernizing, we're going backwards. So that's all I have to say.
Is there any other discussion? Okay, seeing none, roll call vote, please.
Trustee Alfano.
Yes.
Trustee Cordova.
Sorry, I apologize. This is for the amendment, or this is the
The
total?
amendment's done.
Okay. No.
Trustee Kozar.
Yes.
Trustee Kumar.
No.
Trustee Sabri.
Yes.
Okay, that motion passes. Moving along to item 10D, an ordinance of the Village of Villa Park, Illinois, DuPage County, Illinois, amending Articles 22, 30, and 32 of Chapter 2 of the Villa Park Municipal Code, dissolving the Traffic and Safety Commission, the Video Production Commission, and the Special Events Review Committee. Manager Rivas.
Thank you, Mr. President. This ordinance amends Chapter 3, Section 2-22, Traffic and Safety Commission, Section 2-30, Video Production Commission, and Section 2-32, Special Events Review Committee. This ordinance received the first reading on June 23, 2025, and was discussed at the Committee of the Whole meeting on July 14, 2025.
Do I have a motion for the ordinance?
I'll make that motion.
Trustee Kozar, do I have a second?
I second it.
Trustee Sabri. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, roll call vote, please.
Trustee Alfano.
Yes.
Trustee Cordova.
No.
Trustee Kozar.
Yes.
Trustee Kumar.
No.
Trustee Sabri.
Yes.
Ayes have it.
Okay, moving along to item 10E, an ordinance of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, amending Article 4 of Chapter 2 of the Villa Park Municipal Code, creating the Office of Deputy Village President. Manager Rivas.
Thank you, Mr. President. This ordinance amends Sections 2-422 and 2-427 of Chapter 2 of the Villa Park Municipal Code to create the Deputy Village President. This ordinance received a first reading on June 23, 2025.
Do I have a motion for the ordinance? Trustee Sabri? Do I have a second?
Second.
Trustee Kozar? Any discussion? Trustee Kumar?
I am not in favor of this ordinance. There's only one city, Roselle, which has a deputy village president. We have had a past practice that the two oldest trustees will run a meeting. I'm fully capable of running a meeting, as is Jack Kozar, who does run the meetings at Coffee with the Board. Now, if we really want a meeting or two run, I am sure that Manager Rivas could run a meeting or two. I would like to ask council if that's a possibility. If our president is not there and is not in session, that that Manager Rivas could run a meeting.
Go ahead, I'm sorry. My apologies.
The question is, at a village board meeting, could Manager Rivas? No, it has to be an elected official.
It has to be an elected. So can we choose the two oldest trustees like we've been doing?
The oldest?
The oldest, not the oldest in age, but the longest running
Longest
tenured trustees. It's a possibility that works across most of the cities around here. And I feel that this particular ordinance is kind of strange. It seems to be a process to put a village president in who's not a village president. I feel a little suspicious about it. I don't feel comfortable with it at all. And Kevin, as I said the last time, I hope you're not going anywhere or disappearing. This is your job. And as much as I might get angry with you at times and disagree with you, I voted you in. I do not want another person taking your place on the board at this point, how much ever I may disagree with you.
Any other discussion?
Kevin?
Trustee Kozar?
I think Trustee Alfano will do a fine job And I'm sorry if this hurts your newfound popularity, trustee
I mean, I'm
Kumar.
not hurt by it.
Please.
I think maybe trustee Cordova's feelings were hurt knowing that you didn't vote for him. But I do think that trustee Alfano will do a fine job. And I know I think it was Bob Wagner's term bantied about my name, but I'm not interested. So I think, thank you for stepping up, trustee Alfano, and being willing to do this.
Is there any other discussion? Trustee Cordova?
When you're unable to fill in, say you're going to be on vacation or whatever it would be, in the ordinance itself, I don't think I saw anything about like timing or notification. Was that in there? The example here is when you were the pro temp, I believe it was last year or the year before, I can't remember. We talked about the meeting before, and we took a vote. So is that, can you just a timing thing? I mean, it seems like you wrote it.
Yes, so this is based on other ordinances. There's more than one other municipality that has done this. We've done it for other municipalities that we represent. The idea of timing is important for the process that you're talking about, where you're doing it on a meeting-by-meeting basis. By voting for this office of the deputy village president, the timing doesn't matter. If one of those three conditions is present, the deputy village president has the ability to step in without the need for further notification or vote. So it simplifies it.
Okay, so just another question. So is it things that, let's say Kevin doesn't want to go to, I don't know, a meeting with the other mayors, whatever it would be, can he send her, or is this just for our meetings?
Just one moment. This would not apply to other meetings than the Board of Trustee meetings.
Just these meetings?
Correct.
Sure.
Trustee Alfano?
Yes, I would like council to clarify what should happen, and I'll take names out because it might get dark. What happens if it gets to a point where the president can no longer fulfill his obligations? Is there then a special election? Could you clarify that, please?
If there is a vacancy in the office of village president, then the Board of Trustees, this ordinance would be subject to a vote by the Board of Trustees on an acting village president. And the acting village president would then take over the duties of village president until such time as either a special election is held or a regular election, depending on the timing of the vacancy.
All right, thank you.
Trustee Kumar?
Yeah, that's the basic question I had too. Thank you, trustee Alfano. I have no problem with trustee Alfano taking over a meeting. I think some suggestions were made that I am against it. I am against this process. Trustee Alfano has shown clearly that she is able to be at meetings, clearly that she can handle meetings. I have no problem. She is one of the younger people in terms of experience on this board, and apparently we don't value experience on this board. At this point, I value experience. That's all I'm saying, trustee Alfano. But honestly, I have no problem with you taking over any particular meeting. I want to repeat that because I think trustee Kozar might have misinterpreted my feelings on this. I just felt that, the past practice was either of us are able to take over the meeting. And I do feel it's a bit offensive to think that I wouldn't be able to handle a meeting, and that's what's coming out of this. I'll be honest. This is what you're saying. And that's kind of strange, honestly. But I'm okay. Other than that, I don't have the same ego as some others on this board.
All done?
That's it.
Any other discussion? Seeing none, roll call vote, please.
Trustee Alfano.
Yes.
Trustee Cordova.
Yes.
Trustee Kozar.
Yes.
Trustee Kumar.
Yes.
Trustee Sabri.
Yes.
Okay, moving along to 11A, resolution of Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, authorizing and approving an agreement to renew the aggregation program for electrical load and authorizing a master power supply agreement with MC Squared Energy Services LLC. Manager Rivas.
Thank you, Mr. President. This resolution will authorize and approve an agreement with MC Squared Energy Services LLC to provide full requirements electricity supply and related services for the village's electric aggregation program. The Environmental Concerns Commission recommends approval. The village board must decide between a price to compare PTC program and a fixed rate program, which the village currently has. And with us, we have Adam Hoover from the Northern Illinois Municipal Electric Collaborative. Thank you, sir.
Do I have a motion for the resolution?
I'll make that motion.
Okay. Do I have a second? Trustee Kumar, second. Okay, discussion? Trustee Kumar?
I would like you to refer to me as Trustee Kumar, President. Evan Patrick, I think you said Kumar. Thank you.
Is there any other discussion? Trustee Alfano?
Yes, I do have a couple of questions, but do we have a presentation first, or are you here, sir, just for questions?
I'll give a quick review, I think, if that's helpful, and then I'll leave it mostly to questions.
Okay, then I'm going to still refer to our president then. So I'm going to yield back my time then, so that we can hear what he has to say, and then I'll have some questions.
Sounds good.
Sorry about that. My name's Adam Hoover. I help with the power. NIMEC's been helping with the power here. The first thing is we help the village find power instead of ComEd. For a lot of your accounts, we have a rate with, I think you're Dynegy for 7 cents. The ComEd rate's 10.5 cents, so you're finding some savings there. But the thing that we've done recently, and we restarted again, is we run the municipal aggregation program. A little bit of background, that is a program that provides an electric supplier alternative for residents. The last and current program expires in October, and so we need to make a decision on renewal in hopefully today or at the farthest next meeting. Our current program has some pros and cons. You guys currently have a fixed rate of 7.89 cents. That is with 100% renewable energy. So I'll go through the green energy first, and then we'll go through the savings or potential savings or extra costs. You guys are creating 32 million kilowatt hours a year annually because of this program. You guys are third in the, you are seventh in the nation in the amount of renewable energy created, and you are third in the state of Illinois. You guys are creating a significant amount of renewable energy. Just two stats. It's like removing 3,500 gasoline-powered vehicles for an entire year. Or I think the bigger one is, those big wind turbines. It's like you have about 5 wind turbines running a year. It's significant. I just want to make that clear. The downside of the program, and we knew this going into it, so it wasn't like a gotcha, but we found a rate that was higher than the ComEd rate, and so residents had the ability to opt out if they didn't want to participate in it. So in short, residents could choose the 100% renewable program, and it cost them just over the course of 2 years, it's been about a $7.5 a month to residents if they participate with MC Squared. Reminder, any resident could opt in or out at any time. Currently, though, the ComEd rate has shot through the roof, so you guys actually are getting $26 of savings. You guys have the ability, your residents, I know there's only 2 or 3 months left of the program, but I encourage this, and we could talk about this later. Residents should opt into the program. You would save 20 to 25 bucks a month by moving to MC Squared till October. The ComEd rate's about 10.5 cents right now. Your rate is 7.9 cents and 100% green. That is the current program. I'm going to go to your 2 renewal options. You can run the exact same program with a fixed rate that is likely going to be higher than the ComEd rate. The benefit, though, is all the residents that said, hey, I don't want to participate in that, they are not included this time. They don't have to do anything. They just get an informational letter. Your program would cost probably the same month, $8 more a month. I'm estimating. I don't know what the ComEd rate's going to do, but just to be clear, that fixed rate would likely be more expensive, but it would keep you in the top 10 in the nation in the amount of renewable energy created. The other option is you can do what we do in 43 of our 45 communities, which is the price match program. That means that the residents would pay the exact same rate as the ComEd rate. No savings for the resident, no extra costs for the resident. So no extra cost in this one, but no savings, be very clear, no savings. And this one, the village would have the option of $15,000 or $18,000 a year annually, or you could receive 5% renewable energy, so significantly lower the amount of renewable energy you have. I'll kind of stop there. I'll go through questions. I'm sure there are a lot of questions and kind of see what the board is thinking.
Trustee Alfano.
Yes, thank you. So when we first joined the aggregate, we had an incredibly difficult time with people opting out, and it was all that we heard about for
Correct.
like 3 or 4 months.
Correct.
So I'm already very skewed into how I feel about this because it kind of made our lives really difficult.
Understood.
So can you please tell me if there has been a change in how people have been able to opt out?
People could opt out by calling me. I stopped by the village board, the village staff, excuse me, and I gave them my number directly. So they can call me directly, they can email directly, they can email. I'd say the opt-out process is pretty easy. I will say this, trustee, if you renew, all those people that had already opted out will remain opted out. So my theory, and we do this 45 programs the most in Illinois, when you renew, it becomes significantly easier than the first time you did it. And the fixed rate program, when you intentionally have a higher rate with more renewable energy, that creates the most angst. If you choose the price match program, where you say, hey, you're supporting renewable energy, or we're putting $18,000 towards whatever project you want, that doesn't receive the same angst. But I will tell you the renewal process, they can call, email, there's a QR code, they can email the letter back. You can have my personal cell phone, and I will opt them out.
We had all of those things, and it was incredibly difficult.
I'll speak, yeah, that's a good question and a good point. I think it was that ComEd rate being higher. And so why are we doing a program that costs more money? That was where I think the angst was. But I do believe renewals are easier, and I'm here to help with whatever feedback you have. We do Facebook posts, we do website write-ups, we can do, I don't know the types of communications you can think of, but we can do that to make the renewal as easy as possible.
Okay, thank you.
President Kazan. No.
Trustee Sabri.
ComEd has no contract, basically, that their rate is about 7.72 as compared to yours. Yours are 7.98 for 25-month contract. Is that correct?
ComEd rate right now,
comparing to your rates for the last 25 months.
So that's a really difficult question, but it was
It is, I'm taking it from the computer, from the Google, and the bills we received comparing those.
Okay, I don't know the number on that, but it is lower. The ComEd rate was lower than the fixed rate. That I think the same consensus.
It is lower, 7.72.
Correct.
And then you have 25 months up, the contract.
Correct.
Okay. So we had difficult time canceling out the contract. It took me at least 2.5 hour telephone time with your company when the entire village was transferred over.
Understood.
Also, there are other companies. I know you're saying clean energy and so forth. The village has other options beside this clean energy, and they can save significantly without.
Correct.
Right.
Correct. Community solar, great program.
Yes, we have. I do have the numbers on that. Your new contract is saying it's going to be almost 10 point something.
That's option one.
That's option one.
Option one would be 11 cents. It would be higher. I'm not trying to tell you it's going to be lower than the ComEd rate.
Correct. So
option two would be, if you don't want to do that, which I'm hearing you, let's say you don't want to do that, right? I'm kind of hearing that.
No, just explain a little bit more.
Of option
What why your numbers are still higher than ComEd, and why the resident have to go through MC square, because there are other options available. Well, why your rates are higher, and then the residents are going to be locked in for 25 months. And you said that it's very easy to get rid of your contract, or you can opt out. It's not.
Sure. So are you asking why does a private supplier not able to find a rate that's cheaper than ComEd? That's a loaded question in how the suppliers do that, but I will tell you, I'm not with MC squared. I'm a consultant, I'm a broker is the best word I'd say. I went out to 4 different suppliers, and MC squared again has the lowest rate.
Yeah, but we're looking at MC squared right now.
Correct, yes, I just want you to know I'm not an MC squared employee. I don't care if we choose MC squared or you went with another supplier that was there.
So we're asking MC squared right now. Basically,
Yes.
that's what we are going to be voting on for MC squared, correct?
They had the lowest
So you're
bid
not
again.
the representative, so why we are even discussing this?
We are discussing it because I think there's an option for renewal on either the fixed rate, which I said is above the ComEd rate. The suppliers cannot find a power supply generation that would be below the 9.5 cents that ComEd is currently providing. So I think there's also, if you're not interested in the fixed rate, then there's also a price match program, which would not charge residents any higher than the ComEd rate, and you guys could receive $18,000 annually.
So why do you say that we should recommend this, our village resident,
Yeah.
to pay higher than ComEd?
I don't personally.
I mean, this is a
The last
loaded
board-
question here.
The board, yes, I don't have a recommendation between one or two. If the board does not want to pay more, if residents don't want to pay more, I would recommend the price match program, which is what 43 programs, Elmhurst, Lyle, Glendale Heights are all running. And so I would think that was another way to add either $18,000 or create civic contribution or renewable energy options at no extra cost to residents.
To me, you are presenting a new contract for 25 months for a higher cost than ComEd. And ComEd does not. ComEd rates are flexible, they're less
move
than
from month to
yours.
month.
They move
Yeah,
up and
they move
down, no contract. So what is the benefit here, then why we are
If you
asking-
chose option one, the fixed rate program, it would be the 100% renewable energy, which has put you in the top 10 in the nation of the amount of renewable energy created. That is the benefit. If you guys view that amount of renewable energy as important to you and the residents are willing to pay for it. If you do not find that as interesting, then I would recommend the price match program.
The residents are looking for a better rate.
No one in Illinois can provide a better rate. There's not one aggregation. You actually currently, by the way, your current aggregation program has a better rate, but it's going to expire in October.
Well, that's exactly the point is that we have a contract which is expiring and you want us to get into another new contract which is going to be higher than ComEd. And then ComEd is buying basically a power from renewable sources. It's basically these are, I don't know what the benefit is by going with MC squared.
In the fixed rate or the price match program?
Give us both.
In the fixed rate, it would be the 100% renewable energy, which puts you in the top 10. It's a crazy amount of renewable energy. In the price match program, it's either a smaller amount of renewable energy or an $18,000 civic contribution to the village that can be used for renewable projects. That's what Lyle does. They use it for EV chargers. Elmhurst chooses the 5% renewable energy, where you can still become an EPA green community, and it doesn't cost a resident an extra cent. To your point, no savings. I'm not here to promise any savings. But in the price match program, a different type of program, but a renewal of sorts, you cannot have a resident pay a cent more than the ComEd rate guaranteed, and you could still create renewable energy, or you could still create another cash flow of $18,000 a year.
I don't see a benefits here switching over to MC squared. This is how I'm looking at it.
Understand.
People are looking for a better rate right now in this economy, and there are other sources available. MC squared has only 2 out of 5 rating. They have the lowest rating on Google, okay? I don't know where the numbers are coming from, but look at it. I mean, MC squared does not have a good rating online with so many things, and then you pushing us to go through the same contract for next 24 months or 25 months. It doesn't make any sense for me to say to the village resident that, hey, it's okay, you go ahead and pay extra. You've been paying extra for the last 25 months, and now we are ready to agree into another argument or another contract, which is going to be even higher than previous, because ComEd flex.
Unless you chose the price match program, then residents guaranteed, like Elmhurst and Lyle and Warrenville, and they don't pay a cent. They do the price match program. There's 2 options here. I understand. I'm picking up that you don't want to have residents pay a cent more. Let's not do option 1 if that's your choice. Then you could do option 2 of the price match program, and then you could choose either renewable energy or a civic contribution.
And even though, let's say we go either way.
Sure.
We still have a 25-month contract. The resident has 25-month contract. They cannot switch over to ComEd.
You can do a 1 or 2 year deal. I just provided the lawyer with a 2-year deal just for sanity purposes.
But still is a contract. ComEd does not have a contract.
Any resident can opt in or out of the program at any point without any fee, without any penalty. I'll give you my cell phone, I'll give you my card right after this. Any resident, call me directly, and I will get them out of MC squared immediately, at any point. And if you renew, all the residents that have already said they don't want to be part of the program would automatically not be included in the program, which is why renewals are a little bit easier. So if you opted out, you would not be opted into the program. You would automatically be opted out again.
if you go to, I mean, I can tell you right now what the powers is being generated and so forth. So I'm not getting into a little bit more. PGM gives you entire, what the clean energy is.
Yep.
You know, can you tell me what the percentage is right now?
ComEd?
Yes.
ComEd's around 17%. I haven't looked at this year's, but they're usually around 16 to 20% a year of renewable energy. That ComEd does not create supply.
Correct.
So they are just the delivery portion. So that doesn't change because you are still billed and have your energy delivered by ComEd. So if you run the program or not, that doesn't impact the ComEd 18% that they create every year.
Yes, but the clean energy is only 15%, correct?
From ComEd?
From ComEd.
Yeah, it's around, I don't
What
quote me,
about-
but 15 to 20, yeah.
Okay. So there are other avenues right now that PMJ is purchasing power from other sources, nuclear.
Correct.
Everything else.
Correct.
So we're pushing only clean energy here.
If you don't like the clean energy, you could take an $18,000 civic contribution as a price match and maybe use it towards renewably friendly projects, or you can put it in the general budget or other projects you may have. There is no ties to the $18,000 you could receive for the price match program. So if clean energy is not of interest, there's $18,000 you could take.
I don't see any saving right now.
Correct.
At this time that your company, MC Square, or whichever company you're representing, is giving any benefit to the residents. So I have to look forward to the residents, what the best for them.
Understood. Thank you for your time. Good questions.
Trustee Kumar.
So basically, you're telling us we have two programs to opt into at this point.
Correct.
One is at the point we decided on MC squared, it's because we wanted 100% renewable energy.
That was the board.
At that point, the rate was very close to our original rate and the comment rate, and is currently pretty low. Correct?
Currently, the last 3 months, it's been outstanding. You guys are saving,
Outstandingly
yes,
low.
Yes, but
So-
I want to be very transparent. In October, when the program expires, it'll
hike
It'll
up.
go back. What it matters, but I want to be very clear, for the next 3 months, the MC squared rate is great, but I'm not trying to.
So just to
save-
clarify to our residents, this is actually clarification. This program has been efficient, has been giving good rates to our residents till this point, and has not necessarily been a problem. You could have opted out, you could have not opted out, and that is the truth of that matter. Now, I agree with Trustee Sabri in that costs are going up and people's pocket is kind of being hurt at this point. And maybe we do not renew this program as a similar program in the future. But I would hate to give up $18,000 of free money to the village. I don't think we should. We can do the program, which is a matching program.
Correct.
It just makes sure that we're in that program, and I would be in favor of a matching program at this point, especially with costs affecting resident pockets at this point. I am, of course, in favor. Now, with the matching program, how about the solar?
Yeah, if you have solar, you get a letter that says you're not included in the program. That doesn't change for any program we run. That's by state law. So people with solar, hourly, or have a different supplier, guaranteed will not be included.
Okay.
If for some reason they want to join, which I would never recommend, but if they want to join, they have the ability to.
Okay, there was a discussion of a different type of solar you could still.
Community solar?
Community
You can do
solar.
community solar as well as that.
Yeah.
I recommend community solar. I'm not here with a name for you, but community solar is a good project for residents. You can do both.
But you
So
can.
if you are currently a resident that is in Villa Park that does community solar and is with MC squared, you are creating more than your entire house. Like, you're creating almost 110% renewable energy right now.
Trustee Kozar.
Our current contract expires in October.
Correct.
And if we do nothing, then it automatically reverts back to ComEd.
Correct.
We have another meeting coming up on August 11th.
Correct.
I recognize that this is not something that requires a first reading or a second reading, but given how the rollout was last time and certain questions, I think I like the idea of continuing this to our next meeting on the 11th And any citizens that are concerned or have questions can reach out to the trustees and ask their questions. So that said, I'd like to make a motion to move this to our next meeting on August 11th.
Trustee Kozar made a motion to move this item to our meeting at August 11th. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Trustee Alfano, second. And discussion.
Yeah, just a
Trustee
question.
Cordova.
Yeah.
Being top 3 in a state and a top 10 in the country sounds really nice. I think we
Yep.
think we need to market that a little bit better. I didn't know that until
I've,
yeah,
I agree.
yeah. So if we were to move to option 2, where would that drop us, you think?
Oh,
I know that's a hard
I knew.
question.
I honestly, in the car, I was thinking about. It's going to be in the 50s to 70s,
kind of-
and yeah, there's. We do 45 aggregation programs. Lake Zurich, yourselves, and Park Forest are the only 3 that are creating the 100% renewable energy. 42 out of the 45 are doing the price match.
Right.
So you would then be in there. You know, that's
With everyone else.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you'd
it's
be
more
top 100 in the
consumption.
nation. I don't, something like that.
Right. Okay. All right. That was just a.
Yep.
Is there any disadvantage to continuing this to the August meeting?
The village manager and I might have to do a couple steps ahead of time to, because if we're really close on the deadline because we have to mail out letters in advance to inform residents, but I think we could, I'll work with the village manager to do a couple of things to make sure that's okay. But yeah, we might have to do a little pre-work there, but yeah.
If I may, if we were to do nothing and let
Correct.
the contract expire.
Correct.
Can you explain to everyone what would happen if we lose our status as an EPA green community?
You will be, I don't even know if they would remove you from the website, but you received a village highway sign. I think it's an old one. They don't send out new ones, and they just send out stickers, which I'm disappointed in, but that's another conversation. You are on the website, and so there's nothing tangible, besides a highway sign, but there's nothing, it's not like you'd have to, I don't know, give cash back or take posters down.
As a follow-up, are there any grants then that we would not be able to qualify for moving forward?
I don't know enough about grants to answer that. I don't know enough about grants.
Okay, thank you.
None of my towns have said that, so.
Last one.
Trustee Cordova.
Sorry. I think just to go on that, Manager Rivas, having this gives us an opportunity to market ourselves a little bit more. Is that what municipalities are doing that have this type that are like, hey, we are number 3 in the state, number 7 in the
Yeah.
country because of this,
What I'm hearing, like if you guys were doing the 100%, that would have to be another conversation of, that's a conversation and hey, we're having a rate that's higher for residents. That definitely has to be marketed.
Right.
Better, probably on my end as well. If you do the price match, in my opinion, it's a pretty easy sell to residents saying, hey, you might be moving over to MC squared, but we're doing this and either supporting renewable energy at no cost to you. That to me, in a lot of towns we put the environmental committee's name on the website. That gets them to ask questions and answer questions. It's just another way to open conversation about renewable energy. So yes, I think it's an easy way, the price match program in particular, to market renewable energy or any local projects you have. People use the money for parks. Lyle, like I said, does EV chargers downtown. Norwich does recycling bins. So it's just an easy thing to say, hey, we're adding more recycling bins and replacing them at no cost to you.
Okay, I have a motion to move this to our August 11th meeting, and seconded by Trustee Alfano. Roll call vote, please.
Trustee Alfano?
Yes.
Trustee Cordova?
yes.
Trustee Kozar?
Yes.
Trustee Kumar?
Yes.
Trustee Sabri?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, moving along to 12A resolutions, a resolution of Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, approving a change order number 01 to the contract with Trine Construction Corp. of St. Charles, Illinois for construction of the Jackson Area Improvement Project for a net addition in the amount of $172,373.34. Manager Rivas.
Thank you, Mr. President. This resolution authorizes the village president to execute the change order in substantially the form attached hereto to the contract with Trine Construction Corporation of St. Charles, Illinois. The village has a contract with Trine Construction Corp. in the amount of $6,487,050.50 for the construction of the Jackson Area Improvement Project. Proposed change order number 1 consists of the partial balancing of the contract. The net amount of the proposed change order number 1 is an addition in the amount of $172,000 $373.34 for an adjusted contract amount of $6,659,423.84. Staff recommends approval of this change order, and we have Public Works Director Mike Guerra for any questions you may have.
Thank you. Do I have a motion for the resolution? Trustee Sabri, do I have a second?
I'll second.
Trustee Cordova, do we have any discussion? Seeing none, roll call vote, please.
Trustee Alfano.
Yes.
Trustee Cordova.
Yes.
Trustee Kozar.
Yes.
Trustee Kumar.
Yes.
Trustee Sabri.
Yes.
The ayes have it.
Okay, thank you. Moving along to Resolution 12B, Resolution of Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, approving and authorizing an employment separation and release agreement with Mark McLaughlin. Manager Rivas.
There really shouldn't be a whole lot of discussion on this. I did get a consensus of the board prior to this action, so it would just require a vote.
Do I have a motion for the resolution? Trustee Sabri, do I have a second?
I'll second.
Trustee Kozar, any discussion? Seeing none, roll call vote, please.
Trustee Alfano.
Yes.
Trustee Cordova.
Yes.
Trustee Kumar.
Yes.
Trustee Kozar.
Yes.
Trustee Sabri.
Yes.
Thank you. Moving along to 13A, appointments. 13A, appointments of commissioners to the Community Recreation Commission. Appointment 1, appointment of Katie Wagner as Commissioner of the Community Recreation Commission for a term upon to be sworn in until May 31st, 2028. Appointment of Nate Cook as Commissioner of the Community Recreation Commission for a term upon being sworn in until May 31st, 2028. Appointment of John Dorhauer as Commissioner of the Community Recreation Commission for a term upon being sworn in until May 31st, 2027. Appointment of Daryl Thompson as Commissioner of the Community Recreation Commission for a term upon being sworn in until May 31st, 2027. Appointment of Tammy Henderson as Commissioner of the Community Recreation Commission for a term upon being sworn in until May 31st, 2026. And then approval naming Katie Wagner as the Chair of the Community Recreation Commission upon initial appointment. Do I have a motion for the appointments?
I'll make that motion.
Trustee Kozar, do I have a second?
I second.
Trustee Sabri, is there any discussion? Seeing none, roll call vote, please.
Trustee Alfano.
Yes.
Trustee Cordova.
Yes.
Trustee Kozar.
Yes.
Trustee Kumar.
Yes.
Trustee Sabri.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Moving along to 13B, appointments of commissions to the Villa Park Growth Commission. Appointment of Matt Weiss as Commissioner of the Villa Park Growth Commission for a term upon appointment until May 31st, 2028. Appointment of Brandon Schreiner as a Commissioner of the Villa Park Growth Commission for a term upon appointment until May 31st, 2028. Appointment of Melissa White as Commissioner of the Villa Park Growth Commission for a term appointment upon May 31st, 2027. Appointment of Brian Wong as Commissioner of the Villa Park Growth Commission for a term upon appointment until May 31st, 2027. Appointment of Al Stash as Commissioner of the Villa Park Growth Commission for a term upon appointment until May 31st, 2026. Approval naming Matt Weiss to serve as the Chairman of the Villa Park Growth Commission upon initial appointment. Do I have a motion for the appointments? Trustee Sabri,
Second.
seconded by Trustee Kozar. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, roll call vote, please.
Trustee Alfano.
Yes.
Trustee Cordova.
Yes.
Trustee Kozar.
Yes.
Trustee Kumar.
Yes.
Trustee Sabri.
Yes.
Ayes have it.
Thank you. Moving along to 13C, appointments of members to the Plan Commission. Appointment of Marianne Gonzalez as Commissioner of the Plan Commission for a term upon appointment until May 31st, 2028. Appointment of John Jack Cuthbertson as Commissioner of the Plan Commission for a term upon appointment until May 31st, 2028. Appointment of Matt D'Alessandro as Commissioner of the Plan Commission for a term upon appointment until May 31st, 2027. Appointment of Mahmoud Khan as Commissioner of the Plan Commission for a term upon appointment until May 31st, 2027. Appointment of Jason Jarrett as Commissioner of the Plan Commission for a term upon appointment until May 31st, 2026. Approval naming of Marianne Gonzalez to serve as Chair of the Plan Commission upon initial appointment. Do I have a motion for the appointments?
I make a motion.
Trustee Sabri, do I have a second?
I'll second.
Trustee Kozar? Is there any discussion? Trustee Kumar?
I've been talking about this for a while, and I guess we will get to it because there's a second. And I'm just bringing it up now because this is kind of halfway in between. I'm bringing up the fact that what are our policies going to be going forth in accepting, because this was just a set of individuals brought forth by our president at this point that he talked to, and I have no idea, I have no comment, except for Matt here, who I know personally. I have no comment as to, and Jason, as to, you know, the quality or the lack of quality of these individuals to actually give us good information. What are our policies and procedures, and asking them for those questions, asking them for information in the future. What are we going to do in terms of what is expected of the zoning? What are our plans? I want to know what our plans are, basically.
Attorney Moore.
Trustee Kumar, just to go back to what we talked about earlier, and I believe Trustee Cordova seconded it, we discussed the fact that what you had proposed for rules and procedures or guidelines, I forget how you phrased it, for the commissions would be on the next agenda. And so I will take what you've already provided, and I'll communicate with you to put together an ordinance that would accomplish what you're trying to accomplish.
Okay, thank you.
Is there any other discussion? Trustee Sabri. Discussions? Okay, seeing none, roll call vote, please.
Trustee Alfano?
Yes.
Trustee Cordova?
Yes.
Trustee Kozar?
Yes.
Trustee Kumar?
Yes.
Trustee Sabri?
Yes.
Ayes have it.
Thank you. Moving along to 13D, appointments of the commissioners to the Garden Village Commission. Appointment of Steve Del Rosa as a commissioner of the Garden Village Commission for a term upon appointment until May 31st, 2028. Appointment of Patrice Gallagher, a commissioner of the Garden Village Commission for a term upon appointment until May 31st, 2028. Appointment of Lynn Smith as Commissioner of Garden Village Commission for a term upon appointment until May 31st, 2027. Appointment of Pete Stoltzes as a Commissioner of Garden Village Commission for a term upon appointment until May 31st, 2027. Appointment of Renee Alvarez as Commissioner of the Garden Village Commission for a term upon appointment until May 31st, 2026. Approval naming of Steve Del Rosa to serve as the Chairman of the Garden Village Commission. Do I have a motion for the appointment?
I mean, motion.
Trustee Sapri, do I have a second?
I'll second.
Trustee Kozar, second. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, roll call vote, please.
Trustee Alfano?
Yes.
Trustee Cordova?
Yes.
Trustee Kozar?
Yes.
Trustee Kumar?
Yes.
Trustee Sabri?
Yes.
Ayes have it.
Thank you. Moving along to item 13E, appointment of members to the Zoning Board of Appeals. Appointment of Rodney Pate as Commissioner of the Zoning Board of Appeals for a term upon appointment until May 31st, 2028. Appointment of Wanda Ackerman as Commissioner of the Zoning Board of Appeals for a term upon appointment until May 31st, 2028. Appointment of Vicky Flaskamp, Commissioner of the Zoning Board of Appeals for a term upon appointment until May 31st, 2027. Appointment of Troy Clampett, Commissioner of the Zoning Board of Appeals for a term upon appointment until May 31st, 2027. Appointment of Richard Gonzalez as Commissioner of the Zoning Board of Appeals for a term upon appointment until May 31st, 2026. Approval naming Rodney Pate to serve as the Chairman of the Zoning Board of Appeals upon initial appointment. Do I have a motion for the appointments?
I make a motion.
Trustee Sabri, do I have a second?
I'll second.
Trustee Kozar, second. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, roll call vote, please.
Trustee Alfano?
Yes.
Trustee Cordova?
Yes.
Trustee Kozar?
Yes.
Trustee Kumar?
Yes.
Trustee Sabri?
Yes.
Ayes have it.
Thank you. Moving along to 13F, appointment of trustee Corrine Carey Alfano as Deputy Village President. Do I have a motion for the appointment?
I'll make that motion.
Trustee Kozar.
Second.
Seconded by Trustee Sabri. Do I have any discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Trustee Alfano?
Yes.
Trustee Cordova?
Yes.
Trustee Kozar?
Yes.
Trustee Kumar?
Yes.
Trustee Sabri?
Yes.
Ayes have it.
Thank you. Is there any unfinished business?
Do you have something that I wanted to bring up?
Trustee Alfano.
Thank you. I would like to, at some point, bring back the commissioner handbook to specifically talk about junior commissioners and what their roles are and how we should approach handling minors in commissions. I know that we had a junior commissioner speak this evening, and he did mention that he needed to have parental consent to participate. I know that on the Fund Commission, we have parents that come to the commission meeting along with our junior commissioners. So I would like to explore that at some point. And then I also have a question about the construction on Harvard from a resident. I don't know if this is the right time or if you want me to wait until my trustee report.
You want me to?
Yeah, go ahead, Manager
Okay.
Rivas.
Need a,
Yeah, I might need Director Guerrera. Yeah, please. Thank you, Director Guerrera. I appreciate it. I just have a quick question from a resident about, or from residents on Harvard by North School regarding the sidewalks that are
Yes.
being replaced.
Yes.
Some of them, some pieces are, some pieces are not. Can you explain how they are being determined, what is being replaced and what is not?
Yes, so thank you. So a lot of our projects, we try to replace as much sidewalk as possible. So typically what we do is any sidewalk that is damaged in terms of tree roots, parkway trees pushing them up, or they're just in poor condition, is being replaced. And then sometimes other portions are being replaced due to the methods of construction. If we're putting in a new apron, a lot of times it's hard to keep the existing sidewalk, so then that sidewalk goes in, or ramps. So if my memory serves me right, going back to the project planning, we looked at the condition of sidewalk, and all the areas that were deemed kind of necessary improvement were replaced. The ones that we felt were in good shape and met compliant, we kept, just to try to keep costs to be as effective as possible with the dollars that we have.
Sure. I was just asked. That's kind of what I thought, because that's what I've seen in other areas, but I was asked
Yeah.
to ask the people who would really know, so.
We've had a few projects where the bid prices were phenomenal, so we took the advantage to replace all. Unfortunately, that does not occur on every project, so this is typically how we plan and then adjust based on bid prices.
Okay. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Is there any other unfinished business? Okay, seeing none, moving along to 15A, new business, coffee with the board, evening session discussion. Trustee Kumar.
I think that was brought forth by our trustee Tina Constantos. Can we move that to when she's available?
Would you like to make a motion?
Yes, I would like to make a motion to move that to new business when she's available to talk on it.
We could have a date specific, please.
The next, I'm hoping she'll be at the next meeting.
So August 14th, I believe that is.
Yes.
So I have a motion to move 15.
11th.
August 11th?
Yeah.
Thank you for that clarification. So I have a motion by trustee Kumar to move 15A to our next meeting under new business of August 11th. Do I have a second?
I will second that.
Trustee Alfano, do I have any, is there any discussion? Seeing none, roll call vote, please.
Trustee Alfano.
Yes.
Trustee Cordova.
Yes.
Trustee Kozar.
Yes.
Trustee Kumar.
Yes.
Trustee Sabri.
Yes.
Ayes have it.
Thank you. We do not have any village commission reports. Moving along to village clerk's report.
None.
Okay, village trustee reports, starting on my left.
New business. I still have things to bring to the table.
Okay. So moving back to new business, is there any new business?
Yes, a resident had reached out a couple weeks ago from next to Target, and I, because of all the commission stuff, I did not get to this. Many residents have been reaching out, and I said I would bring this to the meeting at this point. So I'm going to talk about that. There has been a and I don't know who will handle this at this point because we have new commissioners and commissions. But Barbara Huizinga reached out to me saying that she had been trying to communicate, but nobody was replying, and that she's looking she lives near Harvard. She's worried about the traffic next to where she lives, which is on the north side, way north side of town, next to the Target. She's at 901 North Yale, and a lot of the traffic diverts through that area, which is a problem way on the north side. And she wants to know if it can go through one of our committees and we can come up with a solution for the traffic in that area. So I would like to add that to new business so that we address that particular point.
Is there any other new business?
For now, I'll stop with that. I have a couple more things. I'll save that for some other agendas.
Okay. Village trustees report, starting on my left. Trustee Kumar.
I would like to say that I wasn't favorable to the changes today, but I do welcome all the new commissioners that are on board, and I hope to work with them, and I hope that they will provide us as a board with the great information that we were expecting from this, align with our comprehensive plan, align with our strategic plan, bring in those volunteers that we are expecting to satisfy the comprehensive plan and the strategic plan as we go on. If that is the purpose, I'm welcoming them all in. As to those who are disenfranchised by this process, continue to contact me. I know many of you have, and I'm not lying. Many people have contacted me, much more than I have ever been contacted, to complain about this commission thing. And give me your addresses, talk to me. I will bring your items, your thoughts, your feelings, your needs for Villa Park to this board. If you don't feel comfortable contacting me, there are other board members to contact. You can take your choice. I understand that, but I hope that we will continue the good work that we've been doing and the good work that the volunteers of Villa Park have been doing through this process. Has it been fair? I do not believe so. It has been totally unfair. It has not been the way things should be. I am hoping that the board changes its attitude in the future and becomes more fair, more accepting, and more understanding of our community. And that's all I have to say.
Trustee Sabri.
First of all, welcome all new chairs that we are appointed today. I know new commissions, the people we have spoken with, people we interviewed, they're looking forward to working with the new commissions. This goes with the old commissions as well. You know, we value you. It's not like you are done. We would like to work with you. Please work with us. You offer a great deal in the past, and we will welcome you again, and some of you are on the new commissions, and we're looking forward to working with you. We're all looking forward to this new change. Changes are difficult, but sometimes they're necessary. So we are looking forward to these new changes. Again, one more thing is the National Night Out, August 5th. Please come out, join. Manager Rivas has a lot more to talk about that. Probably our new police chief, we are going to have a get-together at the
Cortese Park.
Cortese Park, thank you. So please come out, celebrate with us. Thank you, that's all I have.
Thank you. Trustee Alfano.
Thank you. As always, it's an honor and a privilege to serve and represent Villa Park as a trustee here. It's also a duty that I prepare for with great care, and I don't take decisions lightly. Behaving like we truly care about Villa Park is not always going to mean that we agree with everyone, and nor should it. I don't agree with my husband 100% of the time, and that doesn't mean that I don't care for him or for my family, but we do take the care and the consideration. I want to congratulate the D88 Marching Band, the Northwest Suburban Concert Band, St. Paul Lutheran Church, and Midland Plumbing and Sewer on their Independence Day Parade Awards. I want to thank Sarah O'Donnell, and some of you may not know who that is. She is currently, but not for much longer, the CEO of our local Tri-Town YMCA, and she has been there for almost 7 years. She is leaving at the end of the month, and her impact and the changes that she's made here at the Y and for our community have been so valuable. So I want to wish her luck on her future endeavors. National Night Out, as you heard, is August 5th from 5:30 to 8 at Cortese. The members of the Fun Commission have asked me to read this message to you. Stop by the Villa Park Community Fun Commission tent at National Night Out on August 5th to learn about the Autumn Jubilee Skeleton Squad. There will be 20 life-size skeletons are available for sponsorship to decorate and be paraded on the path from early October to early November. Bring your phone and take a selfie in front of the Great Wave and learn about the COD art event, the Hokusai and Ukiyo-e, the Floating World. So they hope to see you at National Night Out. I also want to remind people to stay hydrated. I know it's hot. We're supposed to have, I think, one more day of this, hopefully just one more day of this. So keep an eye on your neighbors and your friends and your family, and just make sure that if you see somebody who needs a place to get cool, just take care of each other. Congratulations to the Mariners. I know we had this public comment as well, who came in second place at A conference and were promoted to the white division. Thank you to the coaches, the parent volunteers, the parent board, and our Villa Park Parks and Rec staff for their support. And I do have an ask for staff on behalf of the Mariners. Can we find a space in the Parks and Rec building to display the Mariners trophies? Because we do have a few. So we would like to have that displayed, since Parks and Rec, they do sponsor us and we go through Parks and Rec. And the last thing that I wanted to discuss was how, even in my short tenure here as a resident, I've lived here for, I think this is almost 11 and a half years now. I have already seen an iteration of Villa Park and seen Villa Park change. And tonight we are seeing another evolution in Villa Park. And I know that I've heard arguments that have wanted to not change and hold on to the past, and I feel that and I understand that and I hear it. And I've listened to many people talk about their volunteering efforts, and I commend volunteers. I am a volunteer myself in many capacities. When we volunteer because that's how we feel we want to give back to our community, and that's how we want our community to grow. It's very rarely because of what it brings to us, or because of what we want to put on a resume, or because of what we want to put on an application. And I am left to wonder what the definition of volunteering is, not just for individuals, but also for our community. And I know that we'll be having a lot of discussion about that, and I've already had a lot of discussion with neighbors and with folks around the area. My hope is that folks who have been called to volunteer will stay engaged. Most people who are volunteers, that never leaves you. Villa Park will always need volunteers who put the community first. And that's all I have.
Thank you. Trustee Cordova.
No report tonight.
Trustee Kozar.
No report.
78 days. That's how long I've had the honor of serving you as your village president. And in those 78 days, I've faced more than most might expect in an entire term. When I took office on May 12th, I inherited a village in crisis, financially unstable, organizationally neglected, and operating without the basic accountability our residents deserve. We were behind on employee health insurance payments, liability insurance, NICOR gas bills, some dating back to 2024. Employees couldn't get prescriptions filled or even access basic medical services. Late fees were piling up. Budgets were inaccurate. And one glaring failure stood out: a missing $2.6 million police pension distribution that just hadn't been properly budgeted for. Before I was sworn in, trustees, including myself, repeatedly asked for a budget. We asked for simple quarterly financial reports. We asked for transparency. We were met with silence. Why? What was there to hide? And when this board finally did make the difficult decision to move in a new direction, to change leadership, we were met with hostility. Some of the loudest critics were also former elected officials who once sat on this very dais. Cheryl Tucker asked, why would the board think it's a good idea to remove him? Bob Wagner suggested we give him another year to fix what was already broken. Jack Corkery called the decision a disaster. And Christine Murphy, my most vocal critic, urged the board to reject Mike Rivas altogether. These are people who should understand the responsibilities of this office. Instead of engaging productively, they chose to obstruct and deflect. Yet, in just 3 weeks on the job, our new village manager, Mike Rivas, with the help of our new finance director, Susie Micah, stabilized our workforce, uncovered the financial gaps, and gave us the reports that we had been asking for all along. Now, I know exactly why we never got those reports. But through all of this, I stayed quiet. Even when former village president Nick Cazone came to this podium and called me a political hack. Even when Trustee Kozar publicly said he believed Cazone was asleep at the wheel. And honestly, I think that's putting it lightly. Now, 78 days in, I'm still cleaning up the mess, piece by piece, and doing the hard work of rebuilding. Part of that includes the modernizing and the restructuring of our village commissions. And wouldn't you know it, the same critics returned. Same script, all critique, no solutions. I've been called a king, a crony, dishonest. Christine Murphy, in a private message, called me a soulless effing a-hole, to put it lightly. She even mocked my disabilities publicly, saying, well, he doesn't look disabled. Let me be clear. This isn't about me having thin skin. This is about decency. And it's about drawing a line between fair criticism and outright cruelty. Jack Corkery described me as Stalinistic. Others compared me to restructuring, well, others referred to me of the restructuring of our commissions as to the Jackson spoils system. But let me tell you something. I have seen what a dictator looks like. I served in Iraq. I trained Iraqi Marines to defend their country against an actual dictator, Saddam Hussein. I've seen firsthand what the absence of freedom looks like. So please do not dare lecture me about democracy. I served my country for over a decade. I fought to protect your rights to speak out, even when that speech is directed at me. But let's not twist history. If this process were truly Stalinistic, there wouldn't be public meetings, community input, or open debate. There'd be silence. And to those invoking Andrew Jackson's spoil system, yes, Jackson appointed unqualified allies. History proves that. But that's not what we're doing here. I've spent years building relationships with passionate, capable members of this community. The people I've appointed to these commissions aren't political favors. They're qualified residents committed to service. To dismiss them with that comparison is not just disrespectful to me, it's an insult to them. Villa Park has been my home for over 30 years. I grew up here. I met my wife here. We are raising our family here. I've coached your kids. I've stood with you in moments of joy and in grief. And I've always tried to lead with heart and humility. I believe in this village, and I believe in you. But I also ask that you believe in me. Believe in us on this board. Because despite everything, I know this. Villa Park is ready to shine. We are a tight-knit, resilient community. We look out for one another. We speak our minds. And when we come together, when we set aside bitterness and focus on building, we are unstoppable. So, to those who want to throw stones, go ahead. I'll stay focused on building. I will keep showing up, and I will keep fighting for this community because you deserve that. Let's rise above the noise and let's do the work because Villa Park deserves nothing less. That's all I have. Thank you. Manager Rivas.
Thank you, Mr. President. Just three quick things. As was mentioned, National Night Out is August 5th from 5:30 to 8 p.m. It's a chance to bring the community together, and I look forward to that event, and I will be there. Secondly, on the dais and placed in front of you was a FOIA report. We didn't think staff was going to be able to get it ready in time, so that's why we did not put it in the agenda. But staff stepped up to do that. Not only that, also we have Finance Director Susie Micah to give the monthly financials, the financial report. We didn't think we'd be able to get that ready in time because we've been focusing on audits and things to catch up on, but she was able to get done, and thank you. So I yield my time to Finance Director Susie Micah.
So before you this evening, I placed in front of you a copy of the monthly financial report for the month of June. My apologies that you received it this evening, but I wanted you to have something to review. In addition to this report, it is in the same format as you received last month with the addition of a cash flow chart, and I'll explain that shortly as I quickly go through this report with you. To recap shortly, the general fund up to date revenues through June 30th, which is 50% of this year, we're at $10.7 million in revenues, which is about at 38%, which we should be at 50%. The issue is that if we're comparing this to the same time period of last year, we're about $5.6 million less than we were last year in revenues, but that's what the report looks at this moment. But I want to bring to your attention that the reason for that is that we haven't recorded sales tax, state income tax, investment income, and operating transfers in. So I'm currently working with our accountant to get the reconciliations up to date and get those dollar amounts updated in the revenue portion of the general fund. I'll explain those dollars later on in the report so you understand where it makes sense and why at this moment I'm not concerned. Yes, I'm concerned that we're behind. We need to get caught up, but I have those numbers preliminarily for your review as well. At 6 months into the fiscal year, we should have received at least 50% of our revenues. The revenues in the other funds outside of the general funds are currently underperforming what our budget expectations are. But right now, I'm doing some analysis and I need to coordinate with my colleagues to figure out what's going on and what adjustments need to be made. We have reviewed and looked at each individual fund in terms of where the expenses are, and as I'll explain shortly, there's a little bit of concern, but really not anything alarming. The overall general fund expenses through June 30th are at 36%, which is, if you were to look at halfway through the year, should be at 50%. So even though our revenues are down, we still have to do some recording of revenues, but the expenses are what they are. There isn't anything, unless something's brought to our attention, that's behind. So we're only at 36%, which means that we're holding the line on spending. It could be, some of it is that we don't have invoices that are coming through, we're in the middle of projects, but as a whole, the departments are monitoring their budgets and we're staying within line and actually doing better than anticipated. The actual expenditures that we're looking at, compared to this time last year, we're spending $1.4 million less than what we spent at this time last year. So again, that's a positive trend and a positive direction that we're headed in. Currently, like I said, the general fund revenues are at 10.7 million. Our expenses are at 11.7. So right now, that looks like the general fund is in a deficit of just over $1 million. But in what I just explained a few moments ago, not recording the sales tax, and I'm estimating, I'm very conservative looking at these numbers. 900,000 is a minimum of what we should be recording for sales tax. So once we get the sales tax recorded, the state income tax, another 900,000. Investment income conservatively at 125,000, and then the operating transfers that we need to make from the different funds into the general fund is another 394,000. So when you take all those figures in, and with that $1 million deficit, the general fund is to a positive of 800,000. Again, we have those monies, it's sitting in our bank account, it's just we need to get those recorded by doing the monthly bank reconciliations, which is what we're behind on. If I look at analysis of the other funds, and I'm just going to quickly go fund by fund, the capital project fund right now is on par in terms of performance once we get the transfer done from the general fund into the capital project fund. So you'll see that obviously it looks like a negative right now, but again, the transfer is missing. Once we get that done, we'll be on par. The DUI technology fund is performing at a positive balance right now, with what revenues are coming in and expenses going out. The same for the drug control fund. TIP 7, the performance appears to be negative, but that's a delay in when we receive the property tax revenues. So by the time TIP 7 was set up and property taxes are a year in arrears, we're not going to be receiving property tax money for TIP 7 until next year. So right now, it's negative. I believe it's $10,000. That's not a big deal. We'll recoup those monies next year. I'm not concerned about that fund. TIPs 3, 5, and 6 are both, all three of them are performing at a positive direction. Revenues and expenses it has a positive balance at the end of June. TIP 4 has not received any tax monies, but I have to research what's going on with TIP 4. I think you guys are a little bit more familiar than I am, but I'll be working with the department heads on that to get myself caught up with that so that I can have a report to you current for next month and understand why there's no property tax monies. I have a hunch, but I don't want to speak incorrectly or out of line. The MFT fund, the hotel motel tax, and the NESPA funds are all showing positive balances at the end of June, and that indicates that they're performing on par or better than on par. Right now, the recreation and park funds, they're not performing positively, but they're still waiting the second installment of property tax revenues, as well as the transfers that are due to them from the general fund. So once those transfers come in, we'll have a better idea of where those funds stand. The same holds true for the swimming pool fund, but that's also waiting for a transfer from the general fund to the swimming pool fund. Part of the reason is not just because we're behind on reconciliations and recording those transfers, but I want to kind of hold off on those transfers to see what the performance is, because if we don't need to do a full transfer into those funds, I want to work with the department heads to ensure that it's not going to hinder where they're looking at, because I'm also looking at filling that $2.6 million shortfall that we didn't do the transfer, or that wasn't budgeted for the police pension fund. So we're so far into the year, it doesn't make any sense to bring an amended budget to your attention for you to pass, because being this far into the year, projects have already started. If I were to say we need to cut this, cut that, cut this, it doesn't make any sense, because these projects have already gone through or moved forward on. So part of that is spending down the fund balance, as well as taking a look at these transfers. But again, I'll be working with the department heads on that to give you a more solid number. The street improvement fund, it will be performing positively once we do the transfer from MFT into that fund. So right now it looks negative, but it's really not. The capital project fund is also performing positively at the end of June 30th. The stormwater buyout fund is currently operating at a deficit. However, we have bond proceeds from earlier, I believe it's either 2014 or 2017. I have to refresh myself on that. I'll be working with the Director of Public Works to take a look at that fund and take a look at the bond monies that are sitting in there. Right now, preliminarily, as I've looked at what's sitting in that bond fund and the stormwater project fund, even though it looks negative, that should negate itself and balance itself out. The other thing is when you take a look at the cash flow report, which I'll get to at the very end of the presentation, one of the big differences that I just mentioned earlier on in this analysis is that we are about $5 million short in revenues this year compared to this time last year. However, part of that is $2.2 million we received the grant from FEMA. And so last year in 2024, those revenues were recorded in the general fund. So technically, we're just we're $3 million short right now, minus all the revenues that we still have to record. However, in talking with the Director of Public Works, that $2.2 million, that FEMA grant, really doesn't belong to the general fund. It belongs to the stormwater buyout fund. So if I apply that, and I'm going to have to do an adjustment because we're already halfway through the year in this year, 2025, when I work with the auditors, when they get in here to look at 2024, we're going to have to do a prior period adjustment and move those monies out of the general fund and into the stormwater fund. But I want to make sure that that's the right path to take. But after my conversation today with the Director of Public Works, I'm pretty confident that that's the direction we'll need to go in. So you'll see a little bit of those changes as I get to that report. The very last page is that cash flow analysis by fund. I want to stress that it's unaudited through June 30th. I've made some manual adjustments to confine it to refine it, and I'm continuously looking at that and refining it. Specifically, I'm finalizing the remaining budget transfers from the general funds into the other funds, as I explained, to try to close that gap that we didn't have from not budgeting for the police pension fund. And then within those transfers, right now, as we're looking at that, the cash balance, which is $14.48 million. $14.3 million is the cash balance right now. That translates that at this moment, we have 162 days of operating cash on hand, which actually that doesn't look too bad, because as a whole, we want to be at least between 3 and 6 months. However, the one thing that I want to stress is that we haven't done the transfers out of the general fund. So the general fund looks good right now. In the budget, it shows that there's $7.7 million worth of transfers that need to take place. If I move just that $7.7 million right now, that pulls us down to 77 days of cash on hand, which if you want to be at 9 days, that puts us at 13 days short. I'm throwing a lot of numbers at you, but I'm just preliminarily painting the picture. It's going to look better once we get a better flow. We just kicked off the budget process with the department heads. So they're going to start entering in their numbers in for what they're projecting for 2026. The beauty of this budget process that we're going to go into is that they're going to be expected to take a look at this year where they think they're going to land. Where do they expect the revenues to end up at the end of the year, and where do they expect their expenses? That'll give us a better idea to sit down together to see, okay, this is where we can either curb spending, or this is where we're going to end up at the end of the year, so that this way we have to do those transfers to the full amount, or we can cut on those transfers, and or are we going to have to rely on what we have sitting in our reserve fund which brings us down to the 770 days. So again, it's a moving target, it's unaudited, but it gives you a better idea of where we're sitting financially. It looks bleak, it's not the end of the world, it's not where I'd ideally like to be, but it's not, again, it's not the end of the world in the sense that when we're looking at budgeting for next year, we'll just maybe have to be a little bit tighter and focus on, I hate to say this, but it might just have to be a year where we're just really functioning on operating on the services, and we may not be able to move forward with some projects. Again, I know I'm the bad guy saying this, but it'll look better once we look at it and get those numbers, but from what I'm seeing by going back from 2023 audit, looking at the 2024 numbers and where we're at in 2025, this is what I'm seeing.
Trustee Kumar.
Finances, I'm sorry. So you're saying basically if you move all the money out, we're going down to quite, I mean, it's a pretty dangerous number in my opinion, because generally, as I know, villages try to stay above 90 days, and 77 days is what you're thinking may happen if we move all this. Now, does that mean our revenues is that with your kind of conservative revenue estimates?
Correct.
In place? So if our revenues kind of catch up more than your conservative estimates, it may not be so bad.
Correct.
Okay.
And that's why I'm saying what I've painted for you is worst case scenario.
Okay.
This is the baddest it's going to look. I know that's great English, but that's what I'm presenting to you. My goal is for the next month is to work very closely with the accountant to help her get all of these stuff booked and for the reconciliations as much to happen, so that this way we have a little bit more solid numbers so that I can present for July and get some of those income tax numbers, the sales tax numbers recorded at a minimum to give you a better idea of where that number lies and have that needle move up rather than down.
So as far as TIF 4 is concerned, I think St. Charles TIF 4 was closed to open up St. Charles TIF 7.
Okay.
Is that why there are, possibly you talked about it, that
It
there's
could be,
no-
that's where I have to get more information because I unfortunately don't
because
remember.
You know, when they opened up the bigger TIF, I think they have to give up the little TIF, which was St. Charles TIF 4, which was still on the books as of.
So that means that there's a recording error on our end, that some of the expenses that were recorded in TIF 4, then I may just have to move out to the new TIF and then just close out the official financial books on TIF 4 for that perspective and move it to where it belongs, which would be probably TIF 7?
TIF 7.
So,
TIF 7.
yeah, I'll get that right.
Okay, and, because that's going to be very important going forth with the union project that we're hoping will kick up and get going at one point with planning and zoning and other things going into the thing. That's going to be important because they are in that TIF. And we're hoping that will, clear out and we can get that started and jump-started. There were people who came out, they were concerned about the finances, and I'm glad you gave this report. I think those residents who came out who were concerned about the finances, your statements of some confidence make me feel better, obviously, and I'm hoping that the residents will also feel better with the state of our village right now. We will be planning carefully for it, and I know the board will cut expenses and keep things as low as possible in our budget planning to give you the best chance to do a great job with our village. Thank you.
Thank you, Director Micah. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make that motion.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Alfano, voice vote, please.
Ayes?
Aye.
Aye.
Nays? Ayes have it.
Okay, we are adjourned until August 11th, COW meeting at 6 PM, and our next regular stated meeting at 7 PM.